Hello there, everybody, and welcome to the Golden Throne #1. My name is K-Bot, and I am joined by the one and only Splatoon Lily this afternoon. Lily, how you doing?
Not too bad, honestly. They asked me if I wanted to wake up for this, and I was like, you mean I get to torture K-Bot on mic for a couple hours on a Sunday afternoon? Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah, it's not quite morning for either of us. In fact, just past noon for me. Let's go Central Gang. Rise
Boo.
up. And you're 2 hours, so this isn't.
Yeah.
Although I did just come up from a nap. I did take a late morning nap today, so I did actually have to have an alarm set for this. But regardless, should be a fun one, folks. In case you're not sure what you're watching, you are about to watch 8 gold Aerosprays playing Splat Zones for the next N hours, where N is a number between 3 and 5. Although with Elemental's track record, maybe this tournament will last 7 hours. We'll see. We'll see what happens there. But it should be a fun one here, and should be a nice little laid-back event. I can't imagine I'm going to go hard play-by-play at any point during this. But hey, who knows? I might surprise myself.
You might. It wasn't for juniors, obviously. If you could have an event made up of a singular weapon, what would you pick?
If I could have an event made up of a single weapon.
Yeah.
Lily, so first of all, you're implying that I remember all of the weapons.
Nah, just pick the funniest one.
Right, but the funniest one would also imply that I know all of the weapons in the game. Because the gut in me would say, like, Clash Blaster, but that's not actually that funny, you know?
True. I mean, it would be pretty good, though.
It'd be pretty good, but it wouldn't be.
I feel like Blob Blobber would also be a really funny one, but I think you'd struggle to get people to play that one.
Yeah.
Or like Goosehuber, like you'd have the same problem. You'd have like an audience issue.
But I think you have to pick a funny special one.
Hammer Sploosh? I feel like 8 hammers in a lobby couldn't be anything but hilarious.
And the fact that they all have short range, they all have to run up to what
they have to fight each other. No other options. Like here, people could just sit back and booyah the whole time and never interact. Right. But Hammer Sploosh would have to. Well, yeah, but
throwing
that's boring.
The hammer would be overpowered.
Boring. Boring.
I mean, that's... Okay. Well, says the junior player that just wants to throw bombs all of the time.
Yeah.
Boring.
Buckets is what that is. That's buckets.
Folks, we'll be getting into our first match here in a little bit. We'll start off with a Swiss stage today. Basically, it means the more the teams keep winning, they'll keep playing against other teams that keep winning, and the more the teams keep losing, they'll keep playing against teams that also keep losing. Heading into the first one here, we'll get that scoreboard up to date and refresh as we're underway for our first match. And Lily, there's not going to be much to talk about on the competition.
I don't know. I mean, I can't believe we're seeing 4 gold Aerosprays versus 4 gold Aerosprays. That's absolutely bonkers.
Couldn't have seen this coming. And I am now reminded that the sub-weapon for this is the Sprinkler, which will have, I imagine, not much of an impact in the game. I could be wrong.
I mean, we'll have to see. Definitely running things like all of that QR is going to be absolutely hilarious. And Sprinkler can do some fun things, like paint ground that you're not at to build that booyah bomb and, throw it at the zone or at someone's feet to distract them, like pocket sand. It's my favorite thing to do with the Sprinkler.
Other thing that we'll be reminding you all of throughout the event that we won't be able to keep much of a track of. There are extra prizes for most booyah bombs in a match, most deaths per match, and most rounds lost. So incentivizing throwing a little bit here, I suppose. But nonetheless...
we'll allow it for comedy.
Yeah, I mean, that's the important part, right? Is just the comedy impact out of everything. But to that end, we're just going to see a lot of booyah bombs, and that's going to be the event.
That is kind of what we're seeing so far. just a lot of booyah bombs, and they're being thrown like not even necessarily at the zone, which I find absolutely hilarious too. They're also being thrown just like at pressure points, which is like, okay, I see you understand how the booyah bomb works, and I appreciate that you're not just trying to use it to face zone.
Yes. Very nice to see. I mean, as it turns out, when you have 4 of them, you certainly want to spread them out a little more, which is what we're seeing. I mean, hey, you don't want to throw the same thing one on top of the other. To apply pressure at the same exact point, because by the time that you're applying pressure at the same point for an extended period of time, your target's probably already moved. But looks like the Tin Cans starting to run away with this one in the purple 2-down situation for the Booyah Baddies, and with firm control of the zone here, probably looking to run up on the left side with the next few Booyah Bombs. It's looking like the Tin Can's going to lock this game 1 down.
Honestly, watching that game just, idly, as you do with the 8 goal arrow game. Tin Cans are moving very much like piranhas, which I kind of love. They're doing a pretty fantastic job of just making sure that if anyone appeared on the zone, they were swarmed. I think we need to see a little bit more of that teamwork from Booyah Baddies for sure. But it's also I would say a map issue on that one in particular. Like, very linear map, not a whole lot of ways to get in without people just seeing you immediately. So maybe Humpback Pump Track will be more their speed.
Though, to that end, we'll see all 3 maps, and Hammerhead goes right back to linear.
Yeah, sure does.
And we'll get back there. To your point about the Piranhas, they're doing their best. I don't remember what the name of the child was from Finding Nemo.
Nemo?
With the braces.
The human child.
The human child, yes. If I was, I'm pretty sure I could identify Nemo in the movie Finding Nemo. I remember that name.
Finding Nemo. Let me Google this real quick. Her name's Darla.
Darla. I would never have guessed that.
No, me neither.
But I'm a piranha dated in the Amazon. That got you. Wow.
I didn't expect you to try to mimic. I don't know.
I have mimicked that voice since I have seen that movie.
I was going to say, the movie probably came out when you were born. So.
Yeah.
In 2003.
I mean, we had it on DVD, so I don't remember when it would have. I mean, probably like 6 months later or something.
Oh boy.
I was young, yes.
Thank you for this gift this morning. Like, I can't get you to say ooh woo, but I can get you to say I am a Pomona. So like, excellent. Thank you.
Oh dear. It's gonna be.
So we see again 4 gold air sprays on one side against 4 gold air sprays on the other side. I know, absolutely wild.
I could not have predicted this.
Yeah. A little bit of object shredder on one side. Interesting to see. Probably to deal with some of the sprinklers, or they didn't have a build for this weapon and they were like, oh god, let me think of something real quick, and they had object shredder shoots.
Yeah, that's probably more like it. Okay, theoretically though, what is the best here? It is like object shredder's probably up there, right? What else would you even want? Special charge, maybe?
I mean, honestly, on an air spray, not quite worth it for my opinion. I would say like ink recovery would be more worth it. Things like ink saber main as well. And if you're going to be throwing a lot of sprinklers, you might want some sub on there. So like the ink efficiencies, last ditch effort would probably be really good. And special saver as opposed to charge.
Yeah, I suppose that makes sense, especially when you're probably just going to be in firefights and trading the whole
Exactly. QR also, we saw a full QR build. That's probably, right here, another QR build is a good option as well, especially if you're just going to be running straight at the opponent 24/7.
Which is exactly what Abe's doing now.
Yeah.
Trying to assert things here for the Tin Cans. Look, remember, folks, it is a play all 3 set, but of course, getting the victory here for the Tin Cans means that they will win the match and get a little boost in the standings. So certainly we'll want to do that here and won't want to rely on that, more pivotal game 3. But nonetheless, seem to be in pretty command and control, especially now. 2-down situation here coming through, and really, I don't. How am I supposed to play this?
I was gonna make a joke out of like trying to call all of the Booyah Bombs they've been throwing, but there's so many that I like the thought of doing it even as a joke is overwhelming.
It's like trying to. I should have like gone back to listen to racing commentary or something. Like they turn left again. They throw a Booyah Bomb. Oh look, there's 2 more Booyah Bombs. Oh look, the Booyah Bomb's inside the other Booyah Bomb. Wow.
Well, I mean, that would be appropriate for this racetrack map.
That is true.
Yeah.
That is true. Well, is it a racetrack? It's more of like a skate park.
I mean, it is a skate park, but it's the bump track. It's got the track in the title.
Yeah.
So, you know. As opposed to, like, Blackbelly Skate Park that was actually named a skate park.
But they're both effectively skate parks. Like,
sure.
You can't tell me that. Like, I guess maybe this is a racetrack. I don't know. Someone probably has the, like, lore details down.
One thing to note here is as we're nearing the last 15 ticks, we have 2 Booyah Bombs up on Tin Can's side, which are just going to come in on top of the zone and hold it those last final ticks. Like, we got 2, they put them both on the zone. We got 2 more, they put them both back on the zone. Absolutely hilarious.
Okay, we're getting, it's a
BMX park, which I assume those are those, like, fancy bikes, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be normal bikes, too.
Dirt bikes?
It doesn't necessarily have to be fancy bikes.
Nah, not dirt bikes.
Lily, where's the dirt?
On the ground?
Not here. It's indoors.
Yeah.
There are dirt tracks that could be indoors. There are dirt tracks that could be indoors, but this is not one of them. It's all wood.
I'm gonna fight you.
Are you? Are you?
Yeah.
You have wanted to fight me for years.
Yeah.
And you never have.
It's a slow burn.
It's a slow burn.
It happens someday when you least expect it. You'll be like, ah, Lily will never fight me. They keep threatening to you and they just haven't done it yet. You just wait.
Mm-hmm.
You'll be relaxing at LTC. You'll have your back turned and all of a sudden, push in the pool.
That's not how that... I mean... We're not normally hanging around the pool. Not normally.
No. I'll get creative.
Okay. It better not be shoving me into the fire pit.
No, God, no. See, nothing that will actually fully physically harm you. Like, fire is dangerous. Water is less... Can you swim?
I can swim.
Okay, yeah, I'll push you in the pool.
What if I said no?
Well, I mean, then I'd push you in the shallow end of the pool, where you can stand up.
Where I'd bonk my head on something?
Oh, you protect your head. People fall with their hands down. And you'd hit the water first. You wouldn't hit the water that hard.
Well, that's why they say don't die.
I've thought this out, K-Bot. I found
I'm very tall, Lily.
Yeah, and I have a low center of gravity. Getting into game 3 on Hammerhead Bridge, we have 4 golden air sprays against, I'm going to guess, 4 golden air sprays. Oh,
wow.
Look at that.
I can't foresee this joke ever getting old.
Absolutely not.
That's not going to happen.
Listen, I'm just proud of them. So far, I haven't seen a single person run like Thermal Link. And if I do see that in this tournament, I am going to roast them.
You're specifically looking. You're specifically looking for that middle main durability. Just
listen. Sometimes I see a junior running Thermal Link, and I lose my mind. So.
Well, I don't know if you land the, what is it, 50 damage or 60 damage hitbox on the spot.
No, the distance. See, the distance is what matters. And Junior just doesn't, these short-range weapons don't have the distance to implement Thermal Link.
What if you get some of the chip damage out of the Booyah Bomb and they start running away?
A Booyah Bomb doesn't work. It has to be your main weapon.
Oh. Well.
See, this is why Thermal Link doesn't work for these weapons.
The more you learn.
Tin cans in already with the bloodbath down to 40 ticks and 2 down on the side of Booyah Baddies. This is probably going to be a one and done.
And we talked about this a little bit more. The fact that it's more of a linear map means, especially when we're running this many Booyah Bombs, it's going to be very easy to zone these folks away. And now Booyah Baddies looking for a Hail Mary Booyah Bomb in, but it will actually find 2. Will actually neutralize the zone. That was actually a huge Booyah Bomb. Wow. Catches both those members off guard, and able to flip the zone, but we'll see if they can hold it as well as it was getting held against them.
Yeah, that's it, right? Like, they need that lockout that Tin Cans had up. And, I mean, they're already going down 2 Booyah Bombs coming in, 2 more about to come in from Tin Cans. He's probably going to push out the remaining members of Booyah Baddies and flip that zone.
Another double with a single Booyah Bomb there. This time, one of the members of Tin Cans throwing that one down, and that means that they're going to have another opportunity to try this whole lockout thing again, especially once they get some of these Booyahs online, as you see those special gauges starting to rise. But one of the members of Booyah Baddies going down here early is going to mean that this push might be a little stunted. We'll see if they can actually find the cap here as they start moving forward. But now one goes down, and now another goes down as well. The Tin Cans will find the hold and find the wipeout there, and they'll start moving forward here, looking to secure this game 3.
It's a better lockout on this time, too. The previous lockout they tried to get, Booyah Baddies was kind of already in this choke area. Now, Booyah Baddies is so far back there, and you're going to be able to make it to zone in time to try to paint it. So, yeah.
I don't know whether this is like a good thing or not, but for my general sanity, Lily, I think I'm glad we're watching Splat Zones today. Could you imagine if we were trying to do this on like Rainmaker or Tower Control or even Clams? Like, all of these other modes would go the full 5 minutes every time.
It's true. Yeah. Yeah, they would be very back and forth, whereas here it's pretty easy to get a lockout down when you have 4 Booyah Bombs at your disposal. So, yeah.
Of course, well, I was about to say, of course, I'm here to watch more Splatoon. Then again, this is my 3rd commentary thing in the past 2 months, and I have done no watching Splatoon outside of it. Outside of the things that I'm...
3rd thing, and 2 of them with me?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's very special right now.
I'm not going to sit here and say, like, as you should, because that makes me sound like I have a giant ego. And I'm not about
feel special because I'm spending time with you.
Congrats to the Tin Cans here. They will pick up the 3-0 victory. And again, it is 4 rounds of Swiss here. And each group's got about 11, 12 teams or so. So the teams will be working their way through these Swiss groups. They'll have 4 rounds of the Swiss stage, where again, within these groups, they will keep playing on against teams that also keep winning, or play against teams that also keep losing in each of those groups, all with the hopes of qualifying for the top cut later today after those Swiss rounds wrap up. So plenty of opportunities here to...
Yeah, what's really fun about it too is like a lot of these teams are fairly unknown. Like looking over the brackets, there's a lot of people I didn't recognize. So I feel like a lot of these matches really could go either way, especially since we're leveling the playing field by giving every single person the same weapon, right? It's a really interesting situation.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, to that end, it's not going to necessarily be a something where we can just sit here and be like, oh yeah, these teams will for sure make top cut, because when everyone plays one specific weapon, which is not what they're used to, like, no one's practicing for this tournament. Like, well, maybe some teams did practice for this tournament. Imagine like how many teams actually did gold Aerospray scrims.
Could you, okay, hear me out. Can you imagine paying for that scrim? Like, I want a zones only scrim, and don't laugh,
and
my team is going to play all gold arrow.
Oh dear.
I would just, that's incredible. I love the idea of trying to make that ping and trying to get someone to agree with you.
Yeah. Right. I think that's going to be the difficult part. Is more so trying to just find a team that's like down, that isn't also playing in the tournament.
Yeah. And that's the problem too. Like if they're playing in the tournament, yeah, you could probably get someone to agree to a scrim. It would be practice that wouldn't apply to anything else.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just, good lord.
is your first tourney and it's horrifying. Well, welcome aboard. It's not normally like this.
Oh yeah, hello. If there's anyone new here to competitive or to tournaments, this is typically not how it goes, but this is the fun kind of events that we all kind of live for. Gimmick tournaments are like the lifeblood of this community, where no one wants to admit that they love it, but everyone loves it.
You will not catch me admitting that I love this. I love getting to like come on a cast and not be super serious all the time, which is probably about as good as I can do right now anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's 2 o'clock on a Sunday afternoon. If I wanted to be serious, I wouldn't be here.
Yeah, right. My serious cast is later today for not Splatoon. Shocker. For those of you that know me.
What? No way.
I know. Crazy concept.
I'm pretty. There are games that aren't Splatoon. Just sounds fake. So like, I'm pretty sure they don't exist.
That is a lie.
You're a lie.
Especially all of these songs that you're hearing coming from games that are not.
Yeah, these are all from Splatoon.
They are not, actually.
Pretty sure they are.
Pretty sure they're not.
If you had to admit that you love this type of tournament or uwu, which would you pick?
Loving this type of tournament.
Look at the uwu someday.
It just, my voice, it doesn't work.
Oh no, that's what makes it funny though.
But that's, why would I want to sit here and embarrass myself?
You aren't embarrassing yourself. You're participating in the fun.
Yeah.
I got 9 to uwu. I'll get you to uwu. Just wait.
Oh dear.
Commentary should be uwu only. True.
I don't know about that.
Woo. It's time for commentary.
Oh dear God.
If you had to pick between me doing an entire cast in an uwu voice or in my Valley Girl voice, which would you pick?
I think the Valley Girl bit would be more funny for me.
Okay.
That is not a challenge. To make that very clear.
It sounded like one to me.
To make that very clear. But see, I feel like you could be more. There are a wider variety of things you could do with a Valley Girl accent versus just, saying a woo all the time.
It's probably true. I feel like it would be less annoying for listeners too.
Yeah.
Like ooh woo is funny for a little bit, but it gets annoying really fast.
Right.
Yeah.
Then you'd be like, oh yeah, okay. It's National Ice Cream Day.
Joe?
Is it actually?
Splatfest weekend? Let's go.
So is it National Ice Cream Day in Canada or in the United States? Because it's National Ice Cream Day, which means that it's only true American. In one country. Oh, okay. For some reason, I thought Airsign was from Canada. It's close enough up there. It's close enough up there. Yeah, I'm going to be the bad Splatoon fan that has not picked up the game. I have not booted the game in weeks, but I'm not booting it for Splatfest either.
Airson tried to get me to play Splatfest, and I was like, oh god. my brain is like full of anxiety right now, and the idea of playing Turf War is like overwhelming. I can't.
No. Oh no.
We ended up watching a weird show instead.
Huge.
It worked out. Yeah, it worked out.
I ended up playing Omega Strikers yesterday. That's 2. That's 2 for you counting at home on the Cable Mentions Omega Strikers counter. Which I know Elemental's doing.
Did you at least pick a team for Splatfest?
Nope. I just said I haven't booted the game.
Well, if you were gonna pick a team, which would you pick?
My options are vanilla, strawberry, and mint chip, right?
Yes.
I think it would probably be vanilla.
Gross. I mean, vanilla's fine. It's just
of those
not as... I picked mint chip, but I wanted strawberry. So.
I am a cookies and cream enjoyer through and through. And if chocolate was on there, I probably would have picked chocolate.
Okay, but hear me out. Cookies and cream, excellent. But let's elevate that to cookie dough.
How about both?
Oh, hell yeah. I do that.
Cookie dough is normally my backup flavor. Like if for some reason they don't have cookies and cream, I'll go cookie.
Have you ever heard of Moon Mist ice cream?
Moon Mist.
Yeah, so it's an invention of Nova Scotia from the Maritimes of Canada. It's a very maritime flavor. You can't really find it outside of the Maritimes. And it's a mix of 3 flavors: grape, banana, and bubblegum. And it's like a purple, yellow, blue swirl. It's called Moon Mist.
Let's back up.
Yeah.
I didn't know that grape, banana, and bubblegum ice cream existed in the first place. let alone the combination of the 3.
Yeah, it's called Moon Mist. It's very pretty and it tastes pretty good.
So it actually doesn't sound, I feel like it would be weird with the bubblegum.
There's no like bubblegum chunks in it, it's just the bubblegum ice cream.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe.
I'm a fan. It's not an everyday ice cream because it is fairly sweet. I prefer my ice creams with like fruit chunks in them. But
it's really weird.
Yeah.
Because there was to completely derail, but also.
How dare you! I'm talking about a very important thing right now.
On a cast on Friday, we also got to talking about ice cream flavors. I don't know how we got there because it was not Splatoon related. No. It wasn't Splatoon related at all.
Still probably Splatfest.
No, it had.
It like seeped into your consciousnesses.
The other person has never played Splatoon in their life before.
Yeah, no, but like that thing where like the Aztecs and the Egyptians both built pyramids because of like
because it was the most structurally sound
because of like global
monument.
Consciousness. It's probably the same thing.
Most structurally sound monument, and it's convergent in nature because physics.
Sounds fake. Pretty sure it was aliens. Anyways, the point is that the global consciousness hit again, and Omega Strikers and Splatoon are talking about ice cream.
He was telling me about I guess they call it a grasshopper flavor where he's from.
Okay.
That is mint chocolate chip with like Oreo cookies and cream.
Yeah.
So it's both of those.
Yeah.
Which I don't.
I mean, McDonald's here did like a mint Oreo flurry for a bit.
I actually have I had a mint ice cream before? I don't even know if I have. Because I used to detest and despise mint as a smaller child. Now it's like
I'm like hit and miss. Like mint ice cream gets a bit too cold for me. Like because the mint
gets too cold.
Well, mint
Lily,
it's a compound, it's a chemical compound enhances cold flavors, which is why you can like eat a mint and drink water and the water feels colder. So like
how that actually works?
Yeah, it's a chemical reaction in your mouth.
Do they say that it's colder?
Well, it feels colder.
Yeah, I mean maybe it
doesn't actually make it colder, it just feels colder. So the same thing happens with the ice cream. I find like it makes it like overwhelmingly cold. So it's fine. Really like a mint gum and drink water. It's the same thing. It makes things like even your mouth feels colder.
Yeah. I understand. I understand the sensation.
Yeah.
It just sounds weird to say.
Yeah. But like mint chocolate, pretty great. I love that stuff.
Yeah, I haven't had. I really don't think I've had like a mint ice cream flavor. Because I will just default to cookies and cream no matter what.
My go-tos really are like I was in love with like this peanut butter crunch ice cream for a while. It was like a peanut butter chocolate fudge crunch ice cream. Was excellent. And then there was like I mean, there's a ton of them, like hoof prints or puppy prints or hoof tracks. Like there's like, it's usually like a caramel kind of ice cream with a chocolate swirl in it, and they've got like little caramel cups. They go by a ton of different names depending on where you are and what company's making it, and those are usually pretty good too. But like, I'm a big fruit fan, so like, there's a little ice cream shop down the road that I love to go to. They use soft serve, so I'll just get like vanilla soft serve with like some caramel and strawberries on it. Excellent.
Yeah. Folks, we're going to be getting into our round 2 match in a moment. Taco Bell and Driving with Influence. And I have some unfortunate news because we might be watching 7 Golden Era sprays compared to 8 Golden Era sprays, because apparently one of the members of Taco Bell is having a few internet connection issues. So we'll see what happens. Everyone's queued in for this first game on Inkblot Art Academy. And Lily, this one feels like it might go the furthest with how close the zone is to positions that you can kind of approach from.
Yes.
and chuck that Booyah Bomb down.
Yeah, there are multiple entryways, and the other thing too is you can't cap this whole zone with a single Booyah Bomb, largely because of its anatomy. The big pillar in the middle kind of prevents a lot of those gimmicks.
I know.
Yes. Yes.
Anatomy would refer to a living object.
No. Yeah.
Geometry would refer to the shapes and blocks. Oh, so the zone is alive now. So the map's alive now? Oh.
Yeah.
Carry on.
How do you explain the ink going away every time? It eats it, clearly.
Or they...
It eats it.
I'm coming up with this on the fly. But I'm now imagining the jellyfish riding the Zambonis around, just cleaning up.
I think according to Splatoon lore, it actually dissolves in water or something. Like, it dissolves after a period of time, so the ink just, like, goes away, according to the lore. But, like, I prefer the idea that the stage is alive and eats it. It, like, absorbs it like a big sponge.
Or you get the jellyfish riding around on the squishy things as the Zamboni is in there.
Yeah, I'd be done with that too. Blooming up here really just causing problems for Taco Bell. Just like, I'm in your bats and there's nothing you can do about it, except, I guess, kill me. But it took you a long time to do it and waste a lot of resources, so...
Taco Bell, though, does have 3 Booyah Bombs at the ready. They'll use all 3 of them at once, throwing them on top of the zone.
It
doesn't find enough for the cap. Finally, the last one will come through.
Oh my
find that cap, and with the 2-down situation, it looks like Taco Bell will start having some control in this game, but they'll have to fend off the Booyah Bombs that are going to come in much faster here in a moment.
Yeah, oh, goodness gracious. I'm actually so glad we can see the numbers in the top for the Booyah Bombs being built.
Yeah.
It's, I mean, like, it just reminds you how quickly this weapon builds Booyah Bombs and how kind of broken that is, and how glad I am that it's not meta. Yeah.
Remember the time? Actually, we were just watching one on Comeback with the Booyah Bomb Aerospray.
Huh?
I remember that meta in Splatoon 2. Back in mine.
Back in my day in Splatoon 2, 2 Booyah Bombs from a medal on the zone for humpback.
Yeah. Anyways.
I'm honestly unsure whose spawn we're in right now. I think Bloomin's back in Taco Bell spawn and causing more problems.
Yep. More problems. One might say having a large influence on the game as Driving with Influence will take the first game in our Play All 3 set.
Oh, it was a pun.
Oh, wow. I think did I beat you to the pun?
Yeah, you did.
I think that was the first one today. Wow.
I think that's the first time you've ever beaten me to a pun. Congratulations.
That's a lie.
Congratulations.
Surely I've done that at some other point.
Nah.
Yeah, and this is just going to be problematic. I mean, if you're Taco Bell here, you kind of have to just throw your Booyah Bombs in the zone and try to run forward, but you also just can't ignore this person behind you when everyone's using the same weapon.
Honestly, you gotta taco slay him real quick.
That's not...
You gotta do it.
That's not a...
Okay, how about you gotta arrow slay them?
That's better.
Okay. You got arrow spray and pray.
Or Taco Bell is the one with like the Baja Blast thing, right? So
Oh, sure. You got a taco Baja blast them away.
Yeah.
I've never been to Taco Bell.
And neither have I.
What? Really? I thought all Americans went to Taco
really.
Bell.
No.
Oh, wow.
At least I don't think I have. Maybe like once a very long time ago, but I genuinely doubt it. No, I'd rather stick with my American fast food chains. Like,
is Taco Bell not an American fast food chain?
Well, it's yes, it's an American fast food chain, but it's intended to be Mexican food-ish.
No, it's
right.
No, it's American Mexican. What's the word for that?
Yeah.
Like specifically American Mexican food. There's a word for it.
There's probably a word for it. I believe that there's a word for it. Yeah, my fully American USA. McDonald's, baby. Woo! Yeah.
Yeah, no, we didn't even have Taco Bell up where I live until like I was like 15 maybe. And we didn't have it like specifically like within driving distance of where I live until like a couple years ago.
You know what?
And I just have no desire to go.
You know what you do have up there that I miss being 2 states away from where I live, or where I used to live, is Tim Hortons.
Yeah. I had that the other day.
Tim Hortons breakfast is better than any other fast food breakfast. That's my stance, and I'm sticking to it. Game 2 here, pretty opposite in terms of maps here, going from Inkblot to Manta Maria, where now the zone is like a full 15-second swim away from spawn. And there are 2 zones here as well. Often with a lot of choke points here and ways that we can see these blue bombs used to zone them away.
We are seeing Taco Bell take a little bit more of a dominance on this one so far. It looked like Bloomin tried to go for another flank, and Taco Bell just had their number, took them out pretty quick, and I don't know, this one might be a little bit more evenly paced. I think it'll be a little harder to get a full lockout, especially with all the Booyah Bombs in particular on this one, than it was, say, on like Inkblot. Oof.
Well, I mean, it depends if there's a wipe out that comes through or something of the sort. It's now 2-down situation, 3-down situation for Taco Bell. Driving with influence, going to start moving forward here and start whittling on the penalty. Now, though, Lizard comes up with 1. Going to be looking to try to make sure driving with influence doesn't start running away with this one. And indeed is successful in doing so, providing at least 1 jump in here. And I'll now be looking to try to put a little bit more paint on the ground, but looks like the lead is going to go to driving with influence.
Driving away with this one. They're not going to be running anywhere. They're driving. You're welcome. I honestly am surprised so far at how quite back and forth this is. Usually this map, like, it is lockout heavy, because once you get a dominant control, and you can get yourself into positions that make it really hard for the opposing team to drop back in, but the Booyah Bombs are kind of leveling the playing field a little bit on that one. And nobody can fight each other because you're all running a high RNG weapon with no range.
Right. Like, if you're the team that's holding the zone, what are you going to do? Actually start moving forward, you know? It's like, well,
yeah.
Maybe it'd be more useful, but also it's not going to be any more or less useful than just finding them whenever they approach you anyway. So.
Yeah, and no one's got a Hydra to make sure you can't approach, so everyone's fine.
The best thing you've got is a Booyah Bomb to try to throw, but even that, like we were talking about, if the enemy team is a Booyah Bomb, they can throw it right at your feet, like right here, to find the pick away. There was no running away from that one. Now, driving with influence comes back to tap both zones, but it'll be contested here in neutral. Taco Bell all still alive. Okay, as I say, that caffeine goes down on the front lines. And now, firefight down to the bottom side of the map. It looks like is won by the member of Taco Bell. And actually seeing the map kind of get split in half here. Lots of trades, 1 member for 1, between these left and right sides of
Yo, Candle? Candle? I'm gonna go Candelk. Candelk over here doing the bloomin' from that first game, taking some flanks, getting some uncomfortable positions, and honestly getting quite a few splats on top of it. We've been seeing them kind of hold these uncomfortable areas and get more than their fair share of picks, I would say. And able to dodge a Booyah Bomb, unlike last time. It's going to keep their team in control as we continue to count past that 50-point mark. This is probably where they need to kill some folks before they get their Booyahs out. Whether or not they'll actually, you know. I mean, killing them when they get their Booyahs out works too.
That works. Now Booyah's starting to come in for the zone. 2 down for Taco Bell, and the Cap go back the other direction. 60 seconds here left to play, and this one might be the longest game we've seen so far. Which, hey, at some points, maybe the players are happy about, because it means they can rack up more deaths and more Booyah Bombs for some of those secondary prizes as well. So we'll see what ends up happening. Of course, we can't see the score lines ourselves after this match, but these players continuing to grind this one out, looking for the entries, driving with influence. They've got both zones for now and are starting to push the rest of the Taco Bell gang back. 2 down for them now. There's only 1 on top of their opposing bunker here, and with another Booyah Bomb coming in, there are no safe approaches into the zone right now. Might be able to find a regrouping here. Have to make a push. Booyah Bomb out, other side of the zone. It'll actually get doubled down, and everyone's throwing them at the end of this one here, but that Booyah Bomb will catch one of those members off guard. 2 down situation for Taco Bell. The Cap comes back through for driving with influence. They'll have to throw another Booyah Bomb back down, trying to cap this one, but now with Bloomin' being the only one up here, I'm afraid overtime might run out before they're able to cap back control of both zones, and that is the case. It's Taco Bell squeaking away with this game too.
I'm experiencing a weird sort of anxiety hearing the Booyah Bombs like every 5 seconds. I don't know how to explain it.
Yeah.
It's just like my body is just like, oh god, where is it? Just getting ready to move every 2 seconds. And it's like, it's strangely anxiety inducing.
I feel that. I mean, normally you're just used to like 1 getting thrown out and it gets thrown at your feet. Or you just have to know where that 1 is going. So you hear the sound effect normally when you're playing, and you go, "Oh, okay, there's the 1 Booyah Bomb. I should avoid that." But now they're just happening all the time, and you're like, "Okay, where's it next? 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 Where's it next?"
Right? I can't turn off that fight or flight. It's wild.
It's like you've been playing the game for how many hours?
Yeah. We don't have to answer that question. Well over 7,000 at this point.
Yeah.
Probably closer to 8,000 or 9,000 hours.
Yeah.
I'm definitely not addicted to this game.
Definitely not.
No. It's fine.
What is 8,000 divided by 24? That is
24?
Approximately 330 days. So nearly a full year.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Gameplay time.
Since Splatoon 1.
Since Splatoon 1.
Since Splatoon 1.
So it's been... What? How many years has it been? 8 years? 8 years.
Because I got like...
8 bloody years. Jesus.
Yeah, I got like 2,000 hours in Splatoon 1. Somewhere between 1,500 and 2,000. And then I had over 5,000 in Splatoon 2.
I think I actually, like, proportionally to the amount of time that the game was out for, I think I played Splatoon 1 the most.
Oh, I definitely played Splatoon 2 the most. Well, so far, I guess.
Well, that's what I'm saying is proportionally. So, Splatoon 1 was out for 2 years, Splatoon 2 for 5 years, and now Splatoon 3 for a year.
I have a secret DM from AirSign who says I have put in 5,800 hours between Splatoon 2 and Splatoon 3. So
you have?
I have.
Or AirSign has?
I have. They checked my account for me, apparently. Anyways, moving into our next game, a zones map that like never gets played because of how terrible it is.
Oh no!
You take it off.
Oh no!
Thermal ink is illegal here.
Well, it is perfectly legal.
No, it's illegal.
Yeah, you're watching an Elemental broadcast, so you're bound to see something silly, goofy, zoom in like that, and probably at some point today we'll have something randomly pop up on the screen. But opening engagements traded here and driving with influence will appear to have the first cap of the zone, and some of the members of Taco Bell starting to try to push in, but not looking like they're going to be too successful here, especially with that paint coverage that is coming in from the rest of these air sprays. Now 3 will shoot at this one Booyah Bomb. The Booyah Bomb still gets off. It'll cause a distraction here for a moment. Perhaps that's the opportunity that these members of Taco Bell needed to come back in, but now all of a sudden, I mean, we're at 34 ticks of the timer left to go here. Booyah Bombs need to start coming out, need to start finding a way into this zone, and finally, at least 1 pick comes through, 2 down now as these members of Taco Bell have got to turn their attention over to the zone. With 3 down, it looks like they're going to be able to find the cap here, assuming that they can push through for the last one, and they will apply that penalty and buy themselves more time.
I'm so bad about it, the thermal ink. You're just wasting 10 AP. It just is not useful on this weapon. Because it doesn't affect subs, and it doesn't affect specials, and only affects your main weapon ink. And it has to be a full hit, not a fall off hit off of that.
So what if the subs on the shirt were like
you have to run an ability doubler, like at least ability doubler would give you something. Complaining. Anyways, this swarming over here, the piranhas again trying to get back into the zone as we recap for Taco Bell. So far, this is looking like a pretty Taco Bell dominant game. I'm feeling a little bad. Not Taco Bell. Driving with Influence. Driving with Influence is doing a fantastic job, and Taco Bell is just, I don't know, kind of struggling to get close enough to the zone to paint it.
Wipeout comes through here as well again, and means that this one's going to keep being in control of Driving with Influence. Maybe Taco Bell will have another opportunity here as they start coming back in, but they've got to charge these Booyah Bombs, and they have to not get caught off with those little cheeky sharking plays as Bloomin will find a trade, forcing the reset to come through. But 3v3 now, 2 Booyah Bombs up in the air. They'll get thrown towards the zone. DB has got the last one here to try to follow up, and they'll throw it right towards the middle. They've got to find a little bit more ink on top of the zone, and they will, along with the 2-down situation against Driving with Influence. Well done on the retake here. Probably about the cleanest retake we've seen so far today.
What do you think the influence is that they're driving with?
Well, I think the piranha plant was smoking something.
But that would still be driving under the influence. Driving with influence isn't really anything.
I mean, you're influenced by a lot of things in your life.
Right, true. Maybe they're driving with the influence of, I don't know,
their life
Squid Christ.
Oh.
Timmy. Splat Tim is influencing them as they drive.
So true.
Driving with influencers, maybe? Like TikTok influence? Maybe that's what they're driving with. There's just so many Booyah Bombs right now. I don't even like, what am I supposed to say? There was like 8 Booyah Bombs in 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Blue Char influence, there we go. They're driving with the Blue Char influence, and I mean, it seems to be working well for them so far. We have a full respawn on the side of Taco Bell, kind of just diving the zone and hoping for the best. They have some time. They don't really dive like this. I think we need a little bit more of a front, but I mean, they're running out of that time pretty quickly. They're going to have to start diving very soon.
Booyah Bombs out here. You see 3 come out trying to push the members of Driving with Influence away, and it looks like the delayed wipe will come through. This Taco Bell will find a way once again to regain control of the zone, and now actually starting to whittle down this penalty here means that they'll have the opportunity to go for the game win in this game 3. The winner of this game walks away with the match victory here, so very critical for both these teams as they want to try to have the best chance of moving forward. 8 seconds left to play. Driving with influence comes back in, takes back control of the zone, but they're in a 2-down situation now. Booyah bombs all over the place here, as it doesn't look like Taco Bell will have the blue ink on top of the zone in order to cap it and send us into overtime. It's driving with influence, walking away with the match victory. Driving away with the match victory. I'm sorry.
They sped away with that match.
They didn't actually speed away with that match. That was very close. It was very close. That was like school zone speed limit.
Yeah. Yeah. They sped in a school zone.
Which is very bad. Don't do that.
They drove really fast to the Taco Bell drive-thru.
That is also very bad.
Does Taco Bell have drive-thrus?
Yes.
Okay.
But presumably there would be like cars stopped. So
I'm also sad because this means the team running Thermal Ink won, which makes me very upset.
Well, I don't know what to tell you.
I know you're not listening, but take off the Thermal Ink. It's nothing. It's nothing. Nothing.
But it looked better, Lily. It was about the aesthetic.
I can respect that, I guess.
Yeah. Very important to have a good aesthetic in your gear belts.
It's not true. I mean, it is true. I feel like
it is true.
You can, but see, this is the fun thing with Splatoon is you can have a good aesthetic and good gear. Or Splatoon 3. What game are we playing?
Look nice, feel nice. That's very important.
See, I think
it's not like this is a
very serious event.
Competitive integrity event. Okay?
This is a serious event. How dare you insult the competitive integrity?
At least one of the bonus prizes is most death. Which implies that we're asking some of our players to throw. Uh-oh.
We're not asking anyone to throw.
We're not asking. We are incentivizing it, though.
Mm-hmm. If they want a prize.
Sounds like I might start pulling a prank on Twitch chat. And if I start talking all the time, maybe it'll sound even weirder and I'll have pranked somebody in the chat. Maybe.
Well, it sounds like Al looked up a picture of K-Bot and imploded his computer, so.
Really? Really?
Mm-hmm.
Really? We're really doing this?
Yeah. We're here to have fun.
It'll be fun, they said. I'll just sit here and commentate the tournament. It'll be fun.
Are you not entertained?
I am entertained. But it is in part like the definition of insanity, you know?
Like you keep coming back to commentate with me, hoping that it'll be better next time.
Within the context of this tournament, did you keep watching the same 8 weapons, which happens to be one weapon, and it's all gold arrow spray, trading with each other, and booyah bombs all over the place. Looks like an actual war zone out here. Yeah. But the important part is the players having fun.
I hope they are.
I hope they are too.
I would be having fun. I almost played in this
then
event.
Then why didn't you?
Oh.
because you were
I
commentating.
have family dinner later
before.
tonight. I thought the tournament would go over my family dinner. It would go over my family dinner.
It would, even if it doesn't get delayed because of the elemental luck?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like, commentary, I'm fine. It's just if I played and got really far in the tournament, it would go over my family dinner. So I was like, should I make a pickup? Should I not? And then Elemental was like, hey, you want to come commentate? And I was like, yeah, I could harass K-Bob.
Harass me.
Mm-hmm.
How nice.
Mm-hmm. You're welcome.
Yippee. Hope you're enjoying the show, folks. I've got nothing. I should have like a list of just like little commentary bits I can do.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't. I have not built up the repertoire, as it were. Occasionally I'll come up with a good one here or there, but most of the time it doesn't.
Yeah.
It doesn't actually work that well. Oh well.
Well, okay, how about this? No, I can't tell this story on the stream.
Uh-oh.
No.
All right.
The story's not appropriate for this stream.
And we'll just have to leave you all thinking about what that might be. Tell you what, folks, while we get set up for round 3, we're going to take a real quick break. Grab a drink of water, go use the bathroom, and come on back to join in for more Golden Throne action. Because I bet you won't guess what weapons you'll see get played next. More's coming right on the other side of this break. Hello there, everybody, and welcome back to the Golden Throne #1. My name is K-Bot. I am joined by Lily, and we are getting ready to start our third round of the Swiss stage. Lily, I'm not sure what weapons these teams are going to play next.
I mean, it really could be anything. We could see some vanilla juniors. We might see an E-leader or two, definitely. And I mean, since we're talking about zones, obviously we could see some crabs as well, right?
Why is it that every single time there is like, oh, I don't know what weapon, or oh, I don't know. Actually, I'm pretty sure you're going to mention a junior more times than I mentioned Omega Strikers.
Yeah. It's because Vanilla Junior is in this game, and Omega Strikers isn't. And also, Vanilla Junior is the best weapon. Play it, you cowards.
It's the best weapon.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Well, the unfortunate truth is that these players aren't allowed to do that.
Unless.
No.
What if everyone gentlemans to do Quad Junior?
How does that work? No, this is like
they just agree in the chat and just do it.
This is like the tournament of the why do good things happen to bad people or whatever. You just make up the rules for whatever as you go.
Bad things happen to good people?
Yeah, something like that. I don't remember what the phrase is.
That's fine. That's fine. I'll forgive you. Well, we are going to be getting right into it on Makomar, of course. One of the best maps for Booyah Bomb, and we are going to be, of course, still seeing some gold aerosprays because nothing has changed, and we are still in hell.
We are not in hell. This is real life.
We do see some haunt. Interestingly enough, not thermal, lovely. We do see some haunt, which is always fun, especially when you're going to be this close and up personal with some people. You're going to probably expect to die quite a bit. I can appreciate some haunt on these.
Just like Disconnect will be the team to get the first hold of the zone, and now one Booyah Bomb has two Booyah Bombs actually going to pick off two of the members of Toolbox here, which should enable Disconnect to continue moving forward. And no, anytime I say disconnect, I will not be referring to the fact that a player DC'd from the game. I'll be talking about the actual team name, which I'm sure won't get confusing at all if there does indeed happen to be a disconnect.
DC doing a fantastic job, though, just like controlling the snipe area and restricting their ability to come in. They are going to get absolutely demolished there, but 2 down from Toolbox means they might not get this zone in time. Oh! I spoke
Commentators curse.
Spoke way too soon. Those Booyah Bombs just capping it in time, going to give him the upper hand. But, I mean, the game's not over yet. There's still plenty of time for DC to come in and cause some chaos.
Now, that'll start it here with being able to take care of one member in Booyah Bomb. Why are you laughing?
You're just like yawning the cat. Are you not entertained?
No. Okay, so let's be very clear. Yawning does not mean you're tired. Yawning means that your brain needs more oxygen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So my brain just needed more oxygen to fully comprehend what was going on my screen right now. And what appears to be going on right now is Disconnect has come back in and has started to take back control of the zone, but now they'll go 2 down for their efforts. And so I imagine with this next re-engagement, there it is coming through. Booyah Bomb and the cleanup through from Toolbox. Notably, though, the Booyah Bomb gets thrown on the opposite side of the zone, allowing for that part of the zone to get painted while the main weapons handle the near side. And now Toolbox is starting to get set up here for their hold, and they'll be able to find 2 in the process early. Now 3 down. This one is looking like a pretty solid push here for Toolbox.
Honestly, what I'm seeing so far from Disconnect is too many Booyah Bombs being thrown at the zone itself trying to cap it. When you're fighting against 2 aerosprays actively painting the zone, your Booyah Bomb's not really going to do much. You kind of need to be throwing those Booyah Bombs at pressure points instead. Get rid of the members of Toolbox, and then they can't paint the zone, you know?
And now it actually is going to be Disconnect coming in. Can't find a way to cap the zone here as Toolbox will clean up. And now with just 6 ticks of the timer left to go here, 3 more going down, 4 going down. The respawns were just too staggered there for Disconnect, playing a little disconnected. And it'll be Toolbox cleaning up in this first game here.
They did have a pretty decent hold there at the beginning when they first had control and were swarming all over the enemy base. Disconnect was doing a really good job. They just couldn't quite get that retake they needed.
Yeah, and you know, it's going to be difficult, I think, on a single gold arrow spray. Like, sometimes you can pull a hero play out with other weapons. I don't think that's possible to do.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on the focus. Again, like we saw a lot of these hero plays coming in trying to go for the zone, and instead I think the play has to be getting rid of the members of Toolbox first, because you aren't going to be able to paint over 2 arrow sprays when you're 1 arrow spray. The math just doesn't add up.
Yeah.
Instead, we need those flanks coming in and those alternate angles.
And to that point, when everyone's playing the same weapon, especially when everyone's playing the same shooter weapon in the game, that teamwork, that synergy, the ability to retake things together is incredibly important. And as I kind of alluded to, they're going to be difficult to do when one member starts going down or gets caught off, and then the rest of the team's trying to scramble to get back into the zone, but they end up kind of going in one by one as opposed to all going in and trying to make a concerted effort together. So Toolbox will take care of the first game here, and now we head over to Flounder Heights, always the most fun and controversial.
Yeah, it's bad.
Map. It's bad.
It's bad. It's a bad map.
Bad.
Yeah.
You're just like out full force saying it.
Hear me out. Hear me out. Everyone hated Moray Heights in Splatoon 2 because the map was too up. But for some reason they like Flounder Heights even though the map is too up. Make it make sense.
Well, actually, I think in Moray Towers the map was too down.
I mean, same thing.
Because you'd go, well, not exactly.
At least when you're going down, you have an advantage on the people you're going down against, as opposed to when you're going up, you have no advantage against people you're going up against.
But now they're playing Quad Booyah Bomb.
Oh, true.
So it all balances out. Something like that.
Okay.
Probably.
So yeah, we're going to see a lot of Booyah Bombs, which may or may not be a good thing. A lot of them, I assume, are going to be thrown at walls and are therefore not going to paint zones properly. But we'll see. We'll see if anyone has those good, like, Valorant lineups. Aim at the sky and chuck it halfway across the map and somehow get it on the zone, you know?
Yeah. Once again, geometry of the map probably does mean that there are going to be interesting spots for Booyah Bombs. Not anatomy, Lily.
Anatomy.
Geometry. Geometry.
No, see, I'm an artist, not a math scientist.
Math scientist. It's
yeah.
Not mathematician.
Math scientist. Yep. That's what I said.
This is like you calling me an astronomist a long time ago.
Astrologist, I believe I said.
No.
I'm pretty sure that's what I called you. Frequently. Oh, some beautiful counterplay here. I'm gonna get out with the trade. I love that fancy footwork. Absolutely beautiful, and Toolbox back in control. It's gonna take a little bit of work for Disconnect to get back up here.
And look at the amount of green ink that's out here for Toolbox as well.
Ooh.
They have plenty of space to work with here, and going to make it that much more difficult for Disconnect to find a way back in. But now, one member going down, 2 Booyah Bombs at the ready. It'll be Rue coming in from the side, looking for something fancy, but a jump in as one member of Toolbox has slipped past the defenses here. We'll see what happens as now Disconnect starts looking for the opposite zone. Looks like Shook and Orca still in the firefight here on the bottom corner. Shook will be the one to take it. It immediately just chucks the Booyah Bomb, trying to find some semblance of value.
Let's get the Valorant lineup.
Does get the lineup there, hey, and tries to stall things out for a little while longer. At least the cap came through here, and now Disconnect will be able to whittle down this penalty and look to take the lead back.
Honestly, another fantastic firefight leading to a train, and able to get the lead there for Disconnect, just barely squeaking by as the members of Toolbox swarm back in, trying to retake this. They do have a little bit of a penalty on them, but on Flounder, a 32-point penalty honestly isn't that big because of how long it takes to get back in. That said, it looks like we have Rue going over here on a fancy flank, gonna get that other zone before anyone even notices, and provide a little bit of pressure to him.
They noticed, all right, and Rue will get taken down in the process. But now, will the rest of Disconnect be able to come on through? It doesn't look like it. As one member goes down, one Booyah Bomb either side up in the air here, and Deck is going to try to start going for this final member here. Will find the splat onto M eventually with that Booyah Bomb, and now Toolbox will retake the lead with decent positioning here. But now, Booyah Bomb's out from Disconnect. They'll be looking to try to come on back in. And it looks like they're starting to win some of these firefights up close as they start approaching this opposite zone. They're trying to find the caps here, but Booyah Bomb back out the other way. Now 1-for-1 up in the air, actually 2-for-1 up in the air. DBT going to get met with 2 Booyah Bombs and get taken down in the process. And looks like the cap was able to come through even momentarily to apply that penalty here, stalling things out. And actually, Toolbox is able to find the cleanup as well. So they'll be holding on to things for now.
Honestly, yeah, Deck doing a great job here, taking out some people swarming like those piranhas we talked about earlier. But beautiful picks there from TBT, gonna take out 2 on their own ramps, get the Booyah Bomb across the enemy zone, and push Linen off. That's gonna be a full cap and some work down on their penalty. It does look like it is a member of Toolbox still, let's say, in their walls. And making it a little difficult, but they are quickly approaching that lead.
Tell you what, we've seen a handful of flank angles come through on this map, but very rarely does it feel like the rest of the team is able to fully capitalize on a distracting flank, as it feels like the collapse doesn't quite come in as well as you might like. Now, though, it's going to be 3-for-2 trade, just a 1v2 left on top of the zones. The jumps are starting to come in here. Disconnect needs to try to find both zones here, but once again, it's a mountain and a molehill to climb for them. It'll be Toolbox taking game 2, and they'll take the set.
I mean, technically, it is playoff 3.
They still take the set.
Oh, yeah. That's what I said. Technically, yeah. But it's still playoff 3.
We'll still have another game, but they do take the set.
They're all let's all match. Oh, we got the fist bump. Let's go.
Huge.
Incredible. Yeah, I mean, honestly, like, that could have gone either way. It was really unfortunate that they had a couple go down to that Booyah Bomb there at the end for Disconnect, because otherwise I think that was a lead flip in their cards. Just M couldn't quite hold on to the rest of this on their own, and probably needed to hold forward a little bit more there. It was kind of like a do or die situation. You either run at them and die, or you lose and die, right? So,
I mean, as we were saying, right, at that moment in time, it's a 1v2 regardless.
Yeah, they didn't really have a choice.
It's going to be difficult to come out on top there. So,
yeah.
Nonetheless, though, they've got the opportunity here to take one final game, which could still help them in tiebreaks as they try to find a way back here. But they'll be on Hagglefish Market. Break this one. Is this one going to play more linearly or more open? I don't know that I can tell.
Well,
yeah.
I honestly want to say more linear. It really depends on how well the members of each team utilize those flanks. Mm-hmm. If we see some really good flank action, it's going to be excellent. But this is kind of a map where your Booyah Bombs kind of go 2 places, on the zone or on the enemy tarp. So
But the tarp isn't going to be very useful.
Exactly. Here. I mean, people stand up there to throw Booyah Bombs and nothing else, but I just, it's not a super influential part of the map. So I feel like it really comes down to which of these teams can utilize those flanks better. And from what we've seen so far, I feel like it might be Toolbox.
Might be, but Disconnect has shown plenty of promise here. These games have been incredibly close, and indeed they'll actually find the first cap off rip here. But here comes the first set of Booyah Bombs. What do you even do? There's just ink flying everywhere. And now it's Toolbox that'll be able to capitalize on that with the 3 down, zoning members away with those Booyah Bombs and getting the jump onto these members of Disconnect.
From the opening there, they also reminded me just how obnoxious putting sprinklers on that pole is, especially for a weapon that has high RNG. To try to knock those sprinklers off that mid pole with them dying is not going to be easy, assuming they get back to zone. They do get back to zone. I mean, the last ever Toolbox going to have to come back and take these fights, is going to get one and going to go down to the second. So puts his disconnect back firmly in control. For now, at the very least, until these blue valves are coming in again.
Okay, so they're putting in quite a bit of work there. We'll get taken down regardless, but Disconnect has not been able to fully get set up here with enough interruptions coming in, and now Booyah Bombs thrown from Toolbox. It seems like 3, if not 4 of them were able to use them there, and they're able to take the control of the zone with getting 3 splats in the process. That means that Toolbox is going. I mean, look at how far forward they're already running, working together in order to find one. Now we'll back away for a moment and regroup, but actually the rest of the members were on the re-engagement there, and it's a 3-down situation once again for Disconnect. Toolbox is continuing to work their way around the map here, and hey, I'll say, if there's any team that did scrib this whole quad aerospray thing, it might have been Toolbox, because they look pretty well while they're doing this.
Yeah, I mean, it does look like they have this particular set of tools in their box at the very least, because they're doing a fantastic job not only of keeping this very far forward, enough so that it's going to make it hard for Disconnect to come back in, but 7 with a 63-point penalty. I mean, as long as they keep coming in and reapplying that penalty to Disconnect, they have this game. It really just depends on how easily they break this hold.
We'll see if Disconnect can respond in kind, but DBT forward, kind of alone in that Booyah Bomb, will get taken down as the cleanup. Disconnect still back a little bit more, and now the Booyah Bombs start to get thrown towards the zone, make the immediate cap for Toolbox. Now, Jack once again going forward, will find one and get traded out in the process. And so now only really 1 or 2 members of Disconnect still around. DBT back on the line, but tries to throw this Booyah Bomb down, still gets taken down in the process, and the firefights continue. Inkbath on top of the zone. It is Toolbox that'll walk away with control of the zone, at least for now, but Disconnect tries to come back in with the Booyah Bomb coming out and 3 members coming across the zone. Looks like they're might be successful in doing so, but they haven't found the picks necessarily, and they'll go 2 down in the process. There's the wipeout coming through with the Booyah Bombs, one stacked on top of another, allowing even more space for Toolbox to run for it.
Toolbox 3 members already in on the enemy snipe, gonna make this very difficult for Disconnect. 2 down, the last 2 just trying to survive and get their booyahs out, but I mean, it's not going to be an easy feat. A couple jumping on this right side, one going for the full flank. They are going to be able to cap that zone from the looks of it, which is going to buy them a little more time, but they still have that penalty to take through and another 35 points on top of that before they can get the lead back. So they're going to have to keep the stagger up on the side of Toolbox if they want this to be successful.
And, you know, the last-minute holds have been close for Disconnect. They've almost been there, but it feels like Toolbox has been able to find consistent re-engagements. A lot of it's got to do with the placement of these first Booyah Bombs that allow them to start finding positions here in order to take 1, 2, 3, now delayed 4 members down for Disconnect. And it's all Toolbox, all yellow, running forward. Booyah Bombs one after the next, continuing to build on top of the space that each is able to provide. Fantastic play from them, but they've given up the zone as one member was able to flank out from behind from Disconnect. But still, the collapse comes through for Toolbox. Booyah Bombs jumps trying to come in, but Disconnect commits too hard for that there, and Toolbox will regain control of the zone with just 8 seconds left to go. Looks like they will take the 3-0 match victory here. Orca tries to go forward, but it's just a Hail Mary too late. It'll be Toolbox taking the 3-0.
Disconnect honestly had some really good flanks in that match. They managed to get in and around and behind several times, just weren't able to quite hold it afterwards. And I mean, Toolbox, I feel like Toolbox, even when they aren't playing Quad Gold Arrow, are probably a very annoying team to fight.
Yeah.
They feel like the kind of team that probably plays a number of shooter weapons and is constantly in your face, which is honestly one of the more annoying styles to play in this game.
Yeah, I mean, that's been true for like all of Splatoon just in general.
Yeah.
Is the more mobility that your weapons have, the more difficult it is to pin down those weapons. And then you pair them with things like a Booyah Bomb that enables them to run forward, enables some space denial, and allows them to come on in, means that they can be pesky to deal with, certainly. And Toolbox has been doing a great deal of capitalizing on everything that we were seeing there.
Yeah. I mean, they did a fantastic job. I'd honestly love to watch some of their regular gameplay. I feel like that would be a really fun time. Yeah. Yeah, I do think they need to watch out for those flanks, though, if there's anything to take away from this so far. Disconnect was able to get, 4 flanks successfully off to cap that zone. Toolbox, maybe just a little bit inattentive and needs to flash those maps a little bit more and paint those flanks a little bit more, but otherwise, no complaints. Keep it up.
Yeah, I mean, they were still able to clean it up, right?
Yeah.
Which I think is the more important part. Even if you're able to let someone slip by you. I think for this, maybe when there's different compositions being played, there might be a world where there's more, it might be more of a threat. But when everyone's playing the same weapon, and you're able to send 2 members back to deal with the one person that's flanking from behind, it's gonna be all right.
And they did it really well at the end. They kept 3 members on the zone and only sent 1 forward, so that they were able to just like iron wall anyone coming in at the very end. So it worked out.
It all worked out in the end there for Toolbox, who will currently is at 2 wins and 1 loss. So they'll still need to pick up their round 4 victory if they want to try to lock their spot in for the playoffs, or at least have a chance of making it, I should say. As I take a brief look at the standings here, it appears as though a DNA pickup and Sequoia are both undefeated in Group A. Timothy Chalamet's Chocolate Factory and Octopi are both undefeated in Group B. And only Arrow Slay is undefeated in Group C. Most of these undefeated teams should have their tickets bought already for the top cut stage, unless some really fancy Swish tiebreaker shenanigans happen. But normally that's the way that it works. And we'll see what happens here, because there are going to be a lot of teams tied for these last couple of spots to try to make it into this top cut. It's all going to come down to this last round.
I'm over here like, imagine looking at the bracket for a very serious tournament.
Very serious. If it's very serious, you should look at the bracket.
It's true. This is a very serious tournament, and is
that's right.
Yes. Honestly, production value. I just want to shout out Elemental and the team here. Did a fantastic job making this tournament look amazing. I just, especially for a gimmick event.
It sounds like there might be more on the way from this group. We'll probably share a bit more about that in a bit, but nonetheless, if you're enjoying what you see, be sure follow Elemental for more tournament streams, and there will be plenty more coming from the Golden Throne group as well. So join the Discord, keep up to date on Twitter and all of those things. I got nothing. Nothing better than high production value jokes.
Right.
Including the jokes where you flash my face on the screen.
It's the best part.
Best part. Certainly.
It's the best part.
For sure.
So, okay, but I mean, we have one more set to look at today before we hand it off to 2 more amazing commentators. But what do you plan to do the rest of your day? I know you have some, I don't know, like fancy soccer to watch later, but
fancy soccer.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll go with that. Fancy soccer. It's actually probably closer to fancy hockey, or some combination of that.
I've been describing it to people as like, what if Overwatch made Mario Strikers? So
sure, we'll go with that. Yeah, I've got that cast to be on this afternoon. I don't know what I'll do. I might sit down.
Get some ice cream, maybe.
Oh, that sounds nice.
National Ice Cream Day. Take your bike out, go get some ice cream.
See, that was the plan, was to ride my bike this morning before I got too hot.
That's why I'm suggesting it now.
But now it's very warm.
So the perfect weather for ice cream.
Yeah.
Has it been like upsettingly warm down there lately?
It's not been upsettingly warm, but it's been summertime warm, you know.
We've been in like the high 90s, low hundreds for like 2 weeks now, at least 3 weeks.
Yeah.
It's been upsetting.
Well, I should actually. Let me refresh this. Actually, it's low 80s for us right now.
Right. We're at 90 right now. It's gonna be back up to 104 on Tuesday.
Which is crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy for being up north.
Right. I'm in Canada. This isn't allowed.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. That's wild.
And yeah, we're looking at like mid 90s for like the next week, which will put us in like the 4th week of this at least, which is just too much. It's just too much. We've also had like 100% humidity this whole time. So
that is just a recipe for disaster. No wonder you think we're in hell right now, actually.
Yeah, no, my office is so warm. Like, I've been playing and gaming a lot less than I want to be because my office is a sauna. Yeah, I've just been sitting in the air conditioning, reading a lot of books lately.
What is going on in chat right now? Is Nine trying to threaten me or Falco?
No. So Falco is in a Planet Fitness massage chair, which sounds like a great place to be. And 9 is right behind Falco. I assume being the massage chair, that's my only real assumption. Because if you're right behind Falco, you're in the chair, right? So Falco, 9 is the massage chair, is what I'm gathering.
Right.
Yeah.
We can go with that interpretation. Yeah. No, I mean that checks out to me.
Yeah. Yeah. I see no problems here.
No problems. Absolutely no problems. Okay. Let's.
You signed up for this.
I suppose I did.
You did.
We'll now be heading on to our 4th round of the Swiss stage. These are 2 undefeated teams, which will each likely have a slot in the top cut bracket. Timothy Chalamet's Chocolate Factory versus Octopi, which are actually team names and players that I recognize, Lily.
Yeah. Crazy. Yeah, honestly, like Delta Diff and NM, in particular, where they're from. What's the name of that team?
I'll never forget what's his name.
Goodness gracious, I'm bad at this. Not the point. And then Octopi is an actual full team that we've been seeing around the scene lately. He's been honestly doing pretty well.
Yeah. But now all of that is completely out the window because they will be locking quad gold aerospray on both sides. In playing splat zones. So,
are you sure?
For the most part, yeah. No, they are not going to randomly pull out a junior.
Yes, 1-2 buckle my shoe. That's the name of the team. Yes.
That's not how the tournament works.
Yes. So it's a 1-2 buckle my shoe pickup versus Octopi. Thank you.
Which
Falco's got my back.
1-2 buckle my shoe sounds like a pickup name in of itself.
Yeah, they are an actual team. I
I
promise.
need to go back and post the Splatoon team life cycle graphic that I made like 2 years ago and still holds true. Kick 1 or 2 members, become a pickup group, become an actual team, kick 1 or 2 members, rebrand, do it all over again. Yeah, the reason it's on the top of my mind is because I posted that right under Moonlight's team announcement, which means that I have replied to teams that Omega has been on with that graphic twice. That's how long it's existed.
Okay, so I've been corrected. Only NM was on Buckle, and apparently he's left the team. So never mind. Ignore me. NM was on Buckle, but no longer.
Well,
moving into it, we are going to be seeing too many Booyah Bombs on Mahi, which is not where I want to see them. 3 coming out very coordinated. The 4th lagging a little behind. I
don't like. What am I supposed to say about Mahi here? It's like everyone's just going to be right on top of each other.
Yeah.
And that's that. And there's going to be. Maybe they'll be able to lock out a little more, but also maybe the Booyah Bombs can come in and randomly find a few picks here and there.
I feel like Booyah Bombs are going to make a lockout impossible because the only real place you stand to lock it on this map are on the right side and on the enemy snipe to try to prevent them from coming in the 2 only ways you can come in. And Booyah Bombs are going to kind of prevent either of those standing points. So I feel like this is going to be a game fought entirely in mid by just trying to paint the zone desperately.
And that seems to be a decent chunk of the case so far here, especially early on with the first engagement, and now starting to see that come through even more as now the Chocolate Factory folks are starting to get the ball rolling here. They'll have a few Booyah Bombs of their own. Shocking development. Their factory isn't for like gobstoppers or whatever. It's for Booyah Bombs. I think is the
Booyah Bombs are off-brand gobstoppers.
Okay.
Yeah. Everlasting, never-ending, soul-crushing.
Soul-crushing.
Booyah Bombs.
I mean, it's not that bad.
I mean, when there's this many of them, it might be.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
It does look like Octopi kind of got the memo of how badly you need to work to keep the zone just to keep this in sight, but when both your members go up in a Booyah Bomb at the same time, it can be a little difficult to hold on control against a couple of air sprays, so we might need to time those a little better, but I mean, 24 on a penalty clock's not too bad.
One Booyah Bomb caps the zone here, doesn't it?
If you throw it perfectly, maybe.
Yeah. I mean, one Booyah Bomb and then, like, 2 shots from
you sneeze,
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was crazy to think about, and it's probably a large part of the reason why this game's been held in virtually neutral for so long, as these players continue finding fights on top of one another, but now it looks like Octopi might have the advantage. No, one Booyah Bomb comes out, dissuades them for going for the pick. They'll find it eventually regardless. And this 2-down stagger for the Chocolate Factory is not going to play to their favor, as Octopi will still have control of the zone and will likely be able to continue keeping up the pressure here unless Candy here on the top side is going to be sitting up here, painting up, forcing some of these bombs of Octopi back. Oof. And they don't even need to find the splats, but one Booyah Bomb able to find 2 members there. And Octopi is looking to retake this zone once again, only letting the penalty come through.
I mean, they're honestly doing a fantastic job. There's a perfectly placed Booyah Bomb, and the Chocolate Factory is going to get that cap, but, like, I don't know how much help it will be. They do get 2 down, so that's the start, and the other 2 are on a respawn, trying to build their Booyah Bombs. So this might be their chance to take a lead. This probably is going to be lead, and it looks like a good opportunity to increase that even more as well.
60 seconds left to play here, but the Chocolate Factory does have the lead and will be looking to take this out. Booyah Bombs either side of the zone will not cap it yet for Octopi, as there's enough orange ink coming out of these Aerosprays. Another Booyah Bomb comes out here. They're still trying to paint, but now one Booyah Bomb will find the critical member of the Chocolate Factory, allowing the cap to come through. But Octopi hasn't moved too far forward. They're struggling to really find an angle into this zone, and now they've virtually used all of their Booyah Bombs. Try to come on back in here. 23 seconds left to play. They still need to find a way to find the cap and find a hold off of it. But now only a trade on this side of the map, as it's 2 down for the Chocolate Factory. Maybe an opportunity here, but one member gets cleaned up. The other 2 members of Octopi are coming in from the respawn. Another 2 Booyah Bombs are out. 2 members walking up on this right side, trying to dive down on their opponents. But no, the blue ink won't come out from Octopi to find Game 1 overtime, and it's the Chocolate Factory that are able to run away with this.
This is one of the situations we were talking about earlier, where honestly, we need to see a little bit less of that ink and those Booyah Bombs going on the zone, and a little bit more of it going at the opposing players. There's not a lot of cover on the open of this map. There's not a lot of alternatives or flank routes, so this one really comes down to the actual firefights itself. 2 Aerospray sitting there painting zone over each other isn't going to do anything for either of them. Someone's going to have to splat another one.
Yeah, I think we saw that a few times over, and here at the end of the game, Octopi looking for some of those picks with the Booyah Bomb, but couldn't quite come away with them. And then you saw on the flip side, one single Booyah Bomb is enough to do the trip, enough to disrupt so much else of what was happening there on the back lines for Octopi, and not able to find the cap when it matters most, despite leading for a decent portion of that game. Now, we'll see what happens, though, as we get into our second game here, because it was pretty close, and it did come down to all 5 of those minutes. We're heading to Undertow Spillway this time around.
I guess the one upside to running the same weapon across the board is that everyone readies up pretty quickly for the games.
That's true. That is...
Now going into this, there's no thermal ink in sight. Excellent. We love to see it. And this is going to be one of those ones that I think is a little bit more difficult. Booyah Bombs, obviously, as we just saw there from NM, are going to get interrupted by these roofs over top of zone. This is going to be another one of those where it's really going to come down to the firefights.
Now, you see one go down on this side. Candy looks to try to regain the high ground here for the Chocolate Factory, and indeed, they'll be able to find the high ground and pick off one of those members with the support of another teammate there. Booyah Bomb out, and Candy has one available as well. Octopi is going to be back in their spawn for a little while, but now Booyah Bomb does not pick that one up. I don't know how that interaction worked, but I guess ran away fast enough. And Octopi is locked back here in their spawn. Now 30 ticks of the timer left to go here. They're going to need to find an opening fast.
Honestly, it's getting a little difficult. Their team fights are just a little mistimed. That one was much better. 3 players who came on the left all at once is going to give them control of this zone, but not for very long because Booyah Bombs happen. So we're running into these same problems, not quite able to cap. We need to take down a few members of the Chocolate Factory before they get their golden ticket to finals.
Booyah Bombs once again getting exchanged here, and now it'll be the 3-down situation. Just as though you were willing it into existence, Octopi is able to find the picks necessary. But now they go 2 down as perhaps a little overzealous, get collapsed on by the members of the Chocolate Factory, who are looking to take back control of the zone, and indeed they will there. Booyah Bomb up at the ready as well, looking to try to build even more space forward. Goose throws one out. Will be able to find one for the trouble as well. And now finds a second before getting traded out. And, once again, back in this position, Octopi don't quite seem to find these larger engagements that they really want to try to find.
It honestly does feel like they're struggling a little bit like that. Chocolate Factory is kind of swarming just rat behavior, and Octopi seems to be approaching this as a more honest fight, which against rat behavior is always a challenge.
As it turns out, rat behavior is incentivized when you're playing Quad Aerospray against Quad Aerospray.
Wait, really?
I know. It's a crazy concept. But not many tools to lock down fast-moving members here playing Quad Shooter. Now, 2 down once again, though, for the Chocolate Factory, and Octopi will find the cap here, applying that 62-point penalty to the Chocolate Factory, which, again, extends the time in this game. But Octopi has not had the firmest of holds building that foundation, and it's been struggling to get rolling here for them. Another Booyah Bomb gets thrown towards the members of the Chocolate Factory, but no one's there to capitalize on the scramble. They get no picks in the process, but now they start to dive forward. Trades happening both ways as a few more Booyah Bombs come out as well. There's one going to the other side of the zone. Once again, back from Candy, and the Chocolate Factory seem to be holding quite well here. They're able to dodge around these Booyah Bombs, dodge around one member here or there, and now punish, finding the 1v2 fights they need.
Honestly, it was kind of scary looking there and seeing Chocolate Factory have 3 Booyah Bombs almost at the ready, while Octopi had just burned all theirs, and it's like, this is gonna flip, isn't it? Octopi able to get that flip again, only a 30-point penalty to work through. With how back and forth this map has been so far, I find it hard to believe they'll get through it. That said, you get a full wipe. That'll burn through that penalty pretty easy. Now we have to get them in position for a lockout and try to hold it. If they want to even try to touch this lead. There's only 40 seconds left on the clock, and it's going to be a hard one.
Here comes the Booyah Bombs out of the Chocolate Factory. They've farmed them up and are looking to take it right back to the zone, but they will be unsuccessful this time around, as the defensive Booyah Bombs will catch the members of the Chocolate Factory off guard, and it'll be the lead for Octopi here. With just a few ticks of timer left to go, they're looking for the knockout as well, as the Chocolate Factory is rushing towards the near zone. Booyah Bomb up in the air, gets thrown back down, but one member slips away. 1 point remaining for Octopi here, and they'll be able to find the cap at the very end of the game. Octopi will send us now to a decisive third map.
Yeah.
Lily, you alive over there?
Yeah, you just, your cadence didn't quite drop off enough that I felt the indication it was my turn to speak, so I lost it a little bit, for sure. But, I mean, yeah, I honestly wasn't expecting that turnabout, but, I mean, 2 wipes in a row, that'll do it. That'll definitely do it.
Yeah.
That's how you win games here, folks. If you really want to win a game, get 2 wipes in a row, and then, especially on zones, and then the game's over.
As it turns out, eliminating the enemy players is a decent strategy.
If
that means they
dead,
can't paint the zone.
They can't paint the ground.
Yeah. So now, one more game on Barnacle and Dime. Lily, I'm going to be honest. I do not believe I have ever commentated a game on Barnacle and Dime. I think this will be my first game that I've commentated on Barnacle and Dime.
Wasn't in PG when we...
I don't think so. I could be wrong, but I don't think so.
I honestly don't remember. I know I don't like playing Barnacle and Dime. The issue here really comes down to, like... I mean, with these comps, who knows? But traditionally on this map, it comes down to that first firefight, and whoever wins it gets the lockout, and whoever gets the lockout typically wins the game. It's worse for that than Wahoo is, in my opinion. Especially when the other team is playing Ballpoint or Hydra or an E-Leader, getting up into your... on this right-hand side, where we're currently seeing a firefight with Magic, that's the lockout position, and it can be super hard to circumvent. So if I'm going to play a mode here, I prefer to fight clams than zones.
You preferring to play clams?
I know. I honestly think clams here is the best mode. The others are all kind of iffy, but... Yeah. Then we see Timothée Chalamet's Chocolate Factory getting into lockout position, as I was just talking about on this map. 2 do go down, and like I said, it's a bit of a shake-up with these weapons, because everyone's kind of on even territory. No one has those long-range weapons to, you know, get that shit going. So.
But the one long-range weapon they do have is this Booyah Bomb, which we just saw come in full force there for Octopi on that retake. They're able to come on through now, trying to find the bottleneck here against the Chocolate Factory. But we see 3 Booyah Bombs thrown on top of the zone. There is nowhere safe. But nonetheless, the Chocolate Factory went 2 down in that entire process. The front lines held for Octopi, and it means they'll start to get closer and closer towards taking the lead back. But now the re-engagement comes through. Nobody has any Booyah Bombs online now. But it looks like Octopi will hold at least for a moment. Now Candy up in the air with the Booyah Bomb here, but it's a 2-down situation for the Chocolate Factory. Candy, once again, looking for at least one, but is teamed up upon by the members of Octopi, who once again are holding this choke point here, preventing these members of the Chocolate Factory from getting back in the zone. And now 10 ticks of the timer left to go. There's 2 Booyah Bombs out, not allowing the Cyan Inc. to get even anywhere close to the zone. And the wipeout comes through at the very end of the game. It's Octopi that'll remain undefeated in their Swiss group, and will take the golden ticket right away from the Chocolate Factory.
I guess they aren't going to get their golden ticket after all.
I mean, they still might. Because it's...
I guess they aren't going to get their golden ticket after all.
Okay.
Yeah, that's, I mean, honestly, that's kind of how I expected it to go. It really is that lockout. It's the biggest part you got to look out for. It's the hardest part about playing zones on that map. And the Booyah Bombs, it kind of leveled the playing field. We were able to switch control at least once in there, but it plays the way it plays. And, yeah.
Well, you know, the weird thing about that, too, was that the Booyah Bomb, like a single Booyah Bomb, basically covers the entire entryway to get in.
Yeah.
Which is kind of crazy. That it's that easy. It just throw a Booyah Bomb and they can't go anywhere now.
Maybe that's what I'll start doing, though. Maybe next time I have to play someone on zones, on Dime, we'll just quad arrow, we'll get all the booyahs, we'll move those hydras and those ballpoints out of the way with that, and massacre.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Keep me posted on how that goes for you.
Mm-hmm. Well, okay. I'll try.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever that happens.
Okay.
You'll be like, hey, you remember that conversation that we had while we were on
messaging Pika right now.
The sad part is I know you guys are actually going to do this, if not just for the meme once.
I'll try to do it when you're casting, too, so.
Oh, dear. That's not necessary.
I got you, don't worry.
That's really not necessary.
Did just for you.
I promise that's not necessary.
Oh, it's going to be a great time. I can't wait.
All right. And, hey, plenty more great action here coming your way as well, as despite the fact that the Swiss stage is over, there is still a top cut to be played. And that'll be done by a new set of commentators as well, Lily. So this is the part where we have to say our farewell. And it was fun.
Yeah, I had a great time. That was the chaos that I expected. It gave me anxiety I didn't expect, so I learned something new about myself. And I got to poke fun at K-Bot for a couple hours. So, you know, like it was a great time.
All adds together. Lily, are the people going to be able to find you now that you're on hiatus?
Yeah. I mean, I streamed on Wednesday. I played some SOS. So.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. So you do want to find me, Splatoon Lily, at Twitter and Twitch. Maybe I'll get bored and play Scrim or do a tournament pickup or something.
Wow.
Yeah. And if you want to find K-Bot, who only cares about Omega Strikers.
Yeah. You can find me probably casting Omega Strikers for the next few weeks.
Yeah.
until I get randomly pulled in to do a silly little Splatoon broadcast like this one.
Yeah, but for now, I think we're going to sign off. I have some family supper to go to. You have a bike ride and ice cream to get. And then we're going to hand things over to Fusion and 9, who are going to give you a great time for our top cut. And yeah, before we do that, we're going to head off, but we're going to leave you with this fun video to watch. And stay tuned.
Please take a look at this.
If you have come here seeking refuge from the horrors of Splatfest, I regret to tell you that you will find no such refuge here, because you have arrived at the Golden Throne #1, and for every arrow spray that you saw inside of Splatfest, you're going to see 8 more here. It's an 8-to-1 ratio. 8 plus 1 equals 9. My name is Nine Whole Grains, joined here by another number, 8-Bit Fusion. And Fusion, we've been yucking it up in the back, trying to think of all the funny things that we can say about this format, these weapons, these teams that haven't already been said, and we're starting to run dry on material.
You know, I never even considered the fact that my name is also a number, and it's 8, and yours is 9, and yeah, wow, I'm in shambles right now. As everyone will be after we see 8 aerosprays go head to head. You know, watching some of the games from earlier was funny, and what else can I say? Well, the words are not even coming to me at this point. It's just going to be a weird paint battle between both teams in the zone. Sprinkler is actually going to get some kills probably for some reason. I don't really know what we're going to see, because the only Aerospray tournament that I've seen so far was the one where it was Reef Sliders only, and everyone picked Aerospray on zones, and it was the silliest thing I've ever seen, so I can only imagine how much the Booyah Bombs and Sprinklers are going to be doing here.
Well, the great magic of this format, when an Aerospray fights an Aerospray, you get these incredible moments where it's this 30-second firefight, and you would think that it's because everyone is neoing from the Matrix here, ducking and dodging and diving, and really it's just watching 2 kids swing at each other with pool noodles. That's kind of what watching 2 Aerosprays fight are, because you're wondering, you're like, kill something, come on, what do you do? You can make it happen, and it's no slight on the players here, but when you've come from playing T-Techs and maybe some Splash-O-Matics and maybe a 52 gal if you're feeling adventurous, coming over to the Aerospray, your brakes don't work quite as well. All that muscle memory that you've been building up from these years of playing your shooters doesn't quite fit the same bill when your weapon takes 5 shots to kill on a good day.
Yeah, absolutely. That slow kill time is gonna make it even more difficult to break sprinklers. I don't know about you, but even when I'm on junior, sometimes you shoot at a sprinkler and it just does not die, and it's painful. But yeah, all of these players here have lots of muscle memory built up. They've all been playing the game for quite a long time. We're going to be seeing Sequoia versus Octopi. I believe that Octopi won their group and Sequoia came in second in the Swiss stage so far. So the winner of this will move on to semis. And we've got a strong roster on the side of Sequoia. It looks like they've got pretty much their whole team here.
Yeah, and the Octopi roster, those of you who may have watched the earlier rounds who came in towards the end of the Swiss stage are certainly familiar with what this team is capable of doing, where they dismantled one of the many variations of Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, or Charlie and the Chocolate Factory if you read the book first. Now Timothy Chalamet has gotten in on it as well. Now Dune and the Willy Wonka verse have combined in some mystical, magical, fantastical scenario here, but nothing more magical than seeing these 2 teams with these weapons throw down on an absolute murderer's row of stages here, Fusion. We are starting off on Umami Ruins, and then once we get through what is probably the only passable offering of these 3 maps, we then get to go into Wahoo World and Mincemeat, and well, this is as good as it's getting, folks, right here. This is the one good map, so enjoy it while it lasts.
Well, the moral of the story is going to end up being someone needs to run in and get the kills, because standing there painting, both teams are going to be doing it. There's going to be like a bloodbath on top mid as both teams pray that the dice land in their favor. Here we go. We already see Bishop eyeing up that top mid. They're going to be painting both zones from here. They're going to find themselves face to face with, what is that? I cannot read the name. Either way, that face-off on top mid is going to just end up going back and forth, but Sequoia is going to end up grabbing that first cap here.
You know, I never would have even possibly considered what 2 sprinklers on top mid could actually do, but that's got to be very annoying to try to get up to the top of and swim through without taking any damage. As we see, it appears a little shift back as Octopi has somehow pushed some of the members of Sequoia back. It doesn't seem like anyone's died here, which is miraculous. given that that's usually what signals the retreat. But this Booyah Bomb, reading people with Booyah Bomb sight. Sorry, 3 Booyah Bombs coming in right now. And, you know, something, Fusion, that I noticed in the earlier sets, watching not only Octopi play, but just in general, I have never seen so many stealth jumps get punished accidentally because of all of these Booyah Bombs.
I know, right? Yeah, it's definitely crazy. Half of the map might as well just be a death trap at any given point in time, and both teams are certainly showing that you got to be extra careful because no one's going to be able to just run in and be quite as threatening offensively as you'd like to be. So we're seeing teams kind of take their time, use multiple Booyahs at once. We've seen Sequoia pretty much use all of their specials here as Tindler on the left side tries to get in the pit, but the low ground is going to make the arrow have such short range, and they're going to have to jump out, but good awareness in getting out of that situation. What? Wow. Okay.
You drop down on an opponent and suddenly you're in checkmate. This is truly the greatest main weapon that has ever been put together. And once again, great movement there by Archer. There you go. Movement still works here, even if sometimes the shots to kill aren't quite the same as what you have expected. Sequoia really starting to pull away from this one. And again, I'm not exactly sure how Octopi dives in. They're going to get a chance to build up a couple of these Booyah Bombs, but they have not proven that they can follow that up with the movement in and actually get the main weapons on zone.
Yeah, how are they going to deal with all of the sprinklers that will be landing at their feet as they try and push in? It's just an iron wall of sprinklers just lightly spraying you. And Aerospray just does not have the answers for a slowly rotating, spitting water gun.
At some point here, one of these players is going to think, I'm just going to use my Booyah Bomb to get rid of these sprinklers here. The main weapon, clearly not enough. We got to see some legitimately great movement and a couple jukes from Archer to kind of close down this pit area. And again, we already saw, even from just this slight height advantage here, how difficult it can be to contest that position. And as you noted, Fusion, just a couple sprinklers up there, you waste some time to take all of that. And even if you get a Booyah Bomb up in time to throw, if it doesn't find immediate value here, that's 5 or 6 seconds gone, and not 5 or 6 seconds to give that time.
Yeah, I noticed at the end there, Archer actually threw the sprinkler under a Booyah Bomb. So if your team's all pressing Booyah Bomb at the same time, the other team drops a couple sprinklers, and when you land back on the ground, it's not your color anymore. It's wild.
That's kind of clever here. I wanted to, have a little fun today and not take it too seriously, but I have to give a tip of the cap there. Throwing the sprinkler right underneath there. Yeah, if nothing else, it's going to slow them down as they start to move forward. We now move forward into Wahoo World, and you said it right there. Well said all the way through. God almighty. Here we go. Yep, look at this. There we go. Contesting. Thank you, Booyah Bomb, for a moment's reprieve.
Oh my god, this is looking like Splatoon 2 humpback pump track zones. Booyah's every 4 seconds here, but they get double teamed. Roundy comes from behind, takes 2 out. Big picks, looking to find some more, but not gonna hold forward into that arrow spray. And nice cap early from Sequoia as they're pretty much all back in and have a lot of Booyahs online.
I think the most frustrating thing here is that you can't really even be deceptive with how you're moving around an arrow spray here because you don't exactly have anybody else on your team that can be a really loud threat to take people's eyes away from you as you work around. You can use a Booyah Bomb, but if you're moving up and booyahing, you're giving up your position as well. So really, not a lot to be done here. All the while, a wipeout goes on the other side. It looks like it was Bishop maybe that moved forward and started the engagement. Archer came through and cleared it out, and my goodness, Sequoia clearly has things to be doing and places to be. They're making Octopi look like they do not belong here in top 8.
My goodness, yeah, Sequoia certainly has everything planned out here. Bishop on the shark trying to find someone, but now there's just multiple invincible people nearby. They're going to find themselves out of position. 4 aerosprays rushing the zone, all directly into that Booyah Bomb. Not able to get it, but while another Booyah goes off, it looks like Octopi may be able to cap, but they're not. They just... they drop onto the zone in an attempt to cap it and end up getting taken down by Sequoia, who clean up the 2-0 so far in this set. Or not so far, this is going to just be the win since it's best of 3 now.
It is a best of 3 and a convincing victory from Sequoia. That final Booyah Bomb that was placed right on that ridge, just on top of it, that was... just a round of applause from where that was placed there. Any further back and everybody would have swam forward, which is what they were trying to do. Any further forward there and it would have gotten painted over, but it was put at the exact right spot at the very end. You can actually see it right there, tossed to that side. You see all the members of Octopi to run away. One had to just drop all the way down. And once 3 people are right there, it's that much easier to get around them, counter with a Booyah Bomb of your own. So Sequoia has figured this out at an alarming rate of speed, and I'm worried about that.
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly something to see. It's an entirely different ballgame when there are no bombs on the field. There's only one special. How are you going to get your Booyah shredded? The only way is if there's like 1 or 2 people just directly shooting at you from directly under you, because it's an aerospray only metagame here. Sequoia definitely seems to have things figured out. They had those specials right when Octopi pushed back in, and wild to see the aerospray RG meta develop before our very eyes.
Well, folks, as we noted here, it's a best of 3. So I'm doing that thing where I hit F5 on my keyboard over the Battlefy bracket. We may be cutting it up a little bit here, Fusion. We have a second, I would wager. None of the other sets are finished yet, and as quick as that one ended, I'm not really sure that I don't know, we might even have a couple minutes here to go through, but a round of applause again to Sequoia for getting the win, and big thanks to Octopi for spending their Sunday coming out here fighting it out and putting on a good show towards the back half of the Swiss bracket, but Sequoia clearly just a cut above in this set.
Yeah, certainly. I could not come up with a pun in time, but yeah, cut above the rest, and they're going to be moving on to semifinals. Yeah, that's. I'm wondering how the other teams are feeling, because Quad Aerospray, it felt like Sequoia did have it figured out for sure. They're going to be going up against what is most likely the DNA pickup, who's currently up 1-0 in their set, and on the other side we have the Chocolate Factory and Aeroslay both up 1-0 in their sets.
Yeah, it actually does look like, as you were saying, that Timothy Chalamet's Chocolate Factory did get their victory 2-0 as well over 3/4 Cat, so they'll be waiting on the winner of Aeroslay and Aerospraying, and the title's cut off. I can only assume that it's Aerospraying and Praying here, given the the proclivity for puns that these team names tend to have.
Yeah, and we were talking about this before, but 3/4 Cat, the name in the post we had, we all had cat photos instead of us, except for K-Bot. So 3 of the 4 of us were cats, and now there's a team called 3/4 Cats, and I'm wondering if the stars have aligned, or it was intentional, or what, because that's kind of wild. They seem to be down. They were down 1-0 in the set. Actually, yeah, they did just drop 2-0 to the Chocolate Factory. And wow, all of our teams already seem to be moved on to the next sets. Yeah, the DNA pickup. Tu Tepe Mag Nougat is the DNA pickup versus Sequoia and Aeroslay and the Chocolate Factory on the other side. So, really quick round, all 2-0s. And we don't have nearly as long as I expected.
Yeah, I now realize that I may have overestimated the take-back capabilities of what 4 Aerosprays could actually piece together in the heat of the moment. I mean, the map list probably didn't help on that one. Jokes about the map list aside, Umami Ruins and Wahoo World, 2 maps where the defense just has so many ways that they can position themselves to really push you out, and if you have 4 of the same weapons, you can't really come up with too much on the creative side of things. But yeah, it's not easy to break back in unless you have a couple Booyah Bombs and 2 people moving up at the exact right time. But, if the 4 defenders are quick with it, they can move around that, take out those 2 defenders, and then you're basically stuck in split spawn. But we'll see here what these 2 teams have to say about our ramblings and our musings here. Aeroslay versus Timothy Chalamet's Chocolate Factory, and just the most running out of adjectives to describe that image, but he looks like he's enjoying himself. We'll say that.
Yeah, I would say that. He definitely looks, there was a team driving with influence. That seems related here. But yeah, how do you feel about Thermal Ink 9 on Aerospray? It's a very important question. It needs to be answered. The fans want it. They demand it.
Thermal Ink on Aerospray. It's as good as anything else, I suppose. Why not? Thermal, I mean, what? Are you banking on your sprinkler maybe getting into the mix there? Like, is that the thought process that you trip somebody up with your sprinkler and suddenly? I mean, what am I missing here?
Okay, hear me out. It's Scorch Gorge zones. You're an Aerospray. You run to top mid. You rotate in a circle very quickly while shooting. A random bullet hits someone on the ground. Bam, you know exactly where they are.
All right. This is still a bad position to be in because I'm an Aerospray on Scorch Gorge. Like, this is still sad.
But you're on top mid, and everyone else is an Aerospray. It's going great. How are they gonna push you? You're invincible.
I know where I have the high ground. It's true. I have the high ground with an Aerospray, and if you are marked, you're not going to swim up on me. I'll know that you're there. I'll pre-fire. Oh, you never what? You've swayed me here. You have swayed me as we go to Eeldale.
Yes, I have Aeroswayed you, and we're going to be going to Eeldale as the Chocolate Factory comes out with a very surprising 4 Aerospray RGs. On the other side, we're going to see 4 gold Aerosprays as well. Interesting picks coming out here from both sides as neither team has done their counter picks just yet, but we'll see if anything changes next game. But here we go.
There's so much
starting off
charge on these weapons. Unbelievable. Oh my goodness.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Keep it all count. Around. Yeah, well, good luck.
6.
Keep it up. We need an abacus for this one. Oh my gosh, Aeroslave finally has broken through at least a little bit. I like that. Now this is clever though. You throw one of them forward there. Everybody moves up with that one Booyah Bomb that you throw, and then the thrower of the Booyah Bomb immediately backs up in order to get a little bit more paint on the map and maybe cycle it through another time. That's pretty good from a fundamental standpoint there, jokes about the weapon aside, because now that player has once again built another Booyah Bomb to follow up with everybody else. They've really kind of milked this for about 20 or 30 more points than I think they would have if they played that different.
Ooh, the shred coming out. And yeah, despite going 2 down, Aeroslay is just holding this bridge so well. Now they're all back up. They have that advantage against the Chocolate Factory, and they are looking to seal this game out. The Booyah Bombs are coming in, but they're just going to continue painting over the zone. Oh, finally some pressure comes out from the Chocolate Factory as they move onto the zone. A devastating Booyah Bomb takes out one and displaces the others, and that's going to seal out the game. That just looked like the Booyah Bomb we saw last set. Just right as 3 of them pushed in, the Booyah Bomb lands just next to the zone so they can't stand there and paint it. And, you know, all hell breaks loose.
How is this the format that has managed to turn Splatoon into the same length of time as a typical fighting game? Like, these games are going so quick here because these weapons are just not capable of making things happen. I mean, this is Fusion. I had blocked out a couple hours on my calendar here. We might be out of here in 30 minutes if this pace keeps up.
We do seem to be speed running, and Summoning Salt's going to have to make a video if we do end in that much time, because this is definitely a little bit wild. You know, there was 4 rounds that K-Bot and Lily were commentating for, but that did not, you know, 4 rounds, that's like 3 hours. It feels like in most other tournaments. But we're just blazing through them here.
Yeah, there's certainly something to be said again if it's, you know, two skilled teams of, you know, we'll even say comparable skill. When you get a lockout here, so much of breaking back in on splat zones, especially in Splatoon 3 with this map design, is, you know, there's only a few displacement specials in the game, and there's even fewer displacement specials, I would argue, that have any sense of immediacy to them. And Booyah Bomb is one of them, but again, if you're pushed so far back, it's so difficult, and it doesn't help that one single Aerospray can paint over 2 Booyah Bombs in the zone to prevent it from being totally capped. So breaking back in has been the one prescription that has not yet been written, to reference your team there, Fusion.
See, the brain is not it's not brainating at a high enough pace yet. So it took me a second to realize how that related in any way to my team, and I did not remember my team's name for like a good 3 seconds there. But you don't need to remember that. You don't even need to remember what the enemies are playing. Everyone is Aerospray RG. And already we see the Chocolate Factory coming out pretty strong here, grabbing that zone. And now they're going to be the ones trying to lock them out here.
Yeah, they've actually done a pretty good job there. Very nice move there by Candy, but again, maybe banking on the teammates' Booyah Bomb that you saw land at the very end there to be some sort of protection, to not use their own Booyah Bomb. That might be the one slip-up that is necessary. How are they going to work through? You see Toby Yaru there trying to figure out where to go through, but again, if you don't immediately find somebody and if they back up and you trade paint, that's all you can do. Patiently waiting to get to the top. There's a time to drop through. Lovely coordination on that attack and on the other side, but they need to get a couple of these players down now. Finally, with 2 of them down, they should be able to crash through here and make something happen. They've held on. Please, Booyah Bomb, get this done. Can we get a zone neutralized? No! Even after all of that, now there's 3 down here for Aeroslay. And my, oh my, the Chocolate Factory held it together through all of that.
Goodness, they've just been holding that zone so tight. They've been locking down that top mid. Candy's been doing so much work. We got a 1-to-1 game, best of 5 situation. So we're going to be going to at least a game 4 here. And we've got a fan favorite coming up next, almost as popular as the Aerospray RG, Hammerhead zones.
You know, I gotta say, as we get through another just over 90-second game of Splat Zones, you know, all of the angst towards Hammerhead Bridge Splat Zones has always been due to the crabs or due to what an E-Leader can do in terms of locking it down there. Now that we're playing it here with Aerosprays, I think that there could be a renaissance here of Hammerhead Bridge Splat Zones. There is life yet. This level has more to give, and this will be the composition. This will be the matchup that shows that we had it all wrong about this map mode combination. I feel it in my bones.
Yeah, I'm going to have to go to twitter.com and angrily rant that Hammerhead's over-centralizing and means I can't do anything against a ledge camping Aerospray RG. And we'll see what happens here, because this is a map of all time, and I don't know how teams are going to end up pushing here, because this is the whole different, everything.
It appears to me that slowly but surely more and more quick respawn has been creeping their way onto these Aerosprays, so it always ends up in quick respawn no matter how we try to play these games, no matter how much they nerf quick respawn, eventually we always end back up here, so be curious to see if eventually people just get too tired and too frustrated of how this whole run forward, try to fight, get punished for simply trying to be active works, as Delta tries to do exactly that right now. You can't get fall off with the Aerospray. Poor Delta still thought that they were wielding a better weapon.
Oh my god. You run in, you shoot directly at their face, and sometimes it just does not work out. Oh my goodness. But yeah, the Booyah Bomb, that has perfect accuracy, so that's going to clear out space, and Aeroslay coming back from that last game where they did grab the zone once and taking the zone here.
Yeah, nice job. Well, there was a bit of a scuffle situation where you saw players jumping back in there. There was a lot. I feel like there are a lot of teams that can kind of let 1 or 2 players slip away in that point, and yeah, taking back the lead right now in the first actual back and forth game that we have had thus far. We have actually had 2 flips of the zone fusion. I don't believe my eyes.
I know, this is absolutely insane here. Not Muncher, my god, that's a name. Anyways, is attempting to push up with it. We see the teams are trying to push up that ramp, but as soon as they try to do that, things just do not work out because they end up like on that low ground. But now we see they seem to have gotten comfortable. That spot right there by the pillow, they've been trying to hold from there, and that's been working out a little better for them. The Booyahs are coming out, and Aeroslay is working their way back towards the zone, battling against all of those sprinklers, and they're going to grab the zone back for yet another zone cap. I'm pretty sure we're hitting world records here.
Yeah, this by far and away the longest game of the set thus far. Is Surprisingly able to get away from that is the name that you laughed at earlier, and I also chuckled a bit about. We'll call it Candy Bar. How about that? But we'll, you know, you're starting to see, and you put it out there very well, Fusion, that there is the one spot now that it seems like these teams can't quite get past once they've locked out and started to attack. So I don't know whether that's just teams don't want to go back that far, or if they simply feel as though holding there and trying to paint over the opposing Booyah Bomb is sufficient. But now finally Aeroslay has a pretty good look. Did somebody else jump over there at the top, or it is just the one? Whatever it was, it took three of them to get rid of. Oh my gosh, it was all four of them. 4 for 1 is the Aerospray trade.
Oh my god, I was so afraid they were just gonna leave and give the zone. But still, Aeroslay managed to hang on in that situation. Like, wow.
Yeah, pretty remarkable here. At some point, I almost wonder if they're going to start putting on Object Shredder or something else onto some of these Booyah Bombs. Because there have been 2 or 3 of these that I'm surprised the other Booyah Bomb survived from. So maybe a thought there as we see once again another flip. This time the Chocolate Factory moving through there. And again, with that last one going out, has a pretty good look. Will they also elect to send 3 people? No, 2 people and 1 sprinkler should do the job, and does indeed clear it out for Aerosprays. Not necessary for it. Look, they're all kind of fighting over the same territory here to try to build up their Booyah Bombs. They're all close to it. Finally, now with some points coming out, this is a real opportunity.
Yeah, swarming like piranhas, and the Booyah Bombs are coming out on zone. That's 3 Booyah Bombs. That's still not enough to cap the zone. There's so much paint going on over it. And now there's no specials left for Aeroslay. They're trying to get back into the zone, but they're going to need to get some kills if they're going to do it. One more Booyah Bomb comes out. So another one comes out in an attempt to take it back, but the paint is not flipping back, but it gets flipped at 1, but not enough to get flipped all the way.
Oh, what a sequence. I mean, that last 15 seconds of gameplay is exactly what the devious, cruel, evil minds that came up with this format here for the Golden Throne #1. This is what they were envisioning. 4 Booyah Bombs getting swallowed up immediately, not because of a well-placed ink vac, which, incidentally, not a bad thought for whatever the next tournament in this series is, but just because 4 Aerosprays can paint over anything. Really 2 or 3 Aerosprays probably could have gotten the job done right there. But you start to see already, not that this should be a surprise to anybody, when there are 3 Aerosprays are just stuck next to each other, as you see 3 members of Aeroslay there are at the end, they're all painting over the same area. It doesn't matter how good the weapon is at painting if you're all firing at the same spot. And again, credit there to the Chocolate Factory for taking the other avenues away and holding on just long enough to get that game. And I thought, Fusion, for just a moment, we might have a game that didn't end in a knockout. Thus far, I am wrong.
Thus far. But there's always the old standard, a classic hagglefish. Things may change in the world around us. There may be 8 Aerospray RGs, but haggle zones is inevitable.
Well, here we go. Let's see. I'm not gonna know what to think.
Get strapped in.
I'm not gonna know what to think here. I'm so used to having to look to the sky to see 5 Inkjets fighting it out in Star Fox 64 style. Now it's just gonna be Booyah Bombs going through. Although I do think that what they're playing with here is the most delicious looking color palette in Splatoon. I don't know. It's kind of
good.
It's like like a laser lemon or something there, like blue raspberry lemonade. That's exactly what I think of when I see these 2 colors.
That's cool. There's another color combo that like reminds me of like crayons or something. I can't even remember. Anyways, that's not at all related to eating things and things being tasty, I swear. Maybe. Anyways, we've got yet another fight on that zone with the Aerosprays coming back in. Everyone is like so far back on the Chocolate Factory. They're having a lot harder time getting in by the zone, but as soon as they get even close, it flips back, and now neither team is going to want to run through the zone here, and we're going to have an interesting standoff here.
You know, I gotta say, the Chocolate Factory's ability to coordinate as infantry and simply have all 4 members walking at the zone as they fire at the zone is actually pretty intimidating here. I know that it only reaches about 2 or 3 feet in front of them, but I mean, you're not going to paint over it, that's for sure. And eventually you have to back up, and the zone's going to flip almost immediately. So Yeah, we joked earlier that Sequoia may have figured this out at an alarming rate of speed. And after that first game, the Chocolate Factory appears as though they've got some stuff figured out as well. They do still have a little bit of a gap to overcome here, but they're in a decent position. They do have control. We'll wait for that last one to respawn, but Candy there tried to go forward and make a move happen as well. So they've actually done a pretty good job despite being down a couple squids.
Yeah, there, the zone flips yet again. This has been the most back and forth game I think that we've seen yet. Neither team has gone like more than 2 players down since the Chocolate Factory managed to get back into these zone, and it's just been so back and forth. Neither team wants to really get all the way through 3 perfectly synchronized Booyah Bombs. We're going to send that to the Olympics and give it a 10 because, my goodness. Yeah, the Chocolate Factory as well as Aeroslay have both just been coordinating their specials on their way in very well.
I hear some of you in chat already saying collusion scripted, and you know what? The answer is yes. I won't even try to deny it here. These teams have been rehearsing the entirety of this. You saw one member try to go behind there and shark through. Great job by the other members of the Chocolate Factory to hold on to that just in time. It all paying off, and Candy actually survives that through, has to only have a couple of HP left, but that is A-okay right there. They're going to have the special advantage. They're already sharking in the right position there. Held through. Fusion, one good shark here could be the game.
Candy trying to find their way in, but it looks like multiple members of Aeroslay are coming back into the zone. One in the zone, another one through the left side. They're not able to get it back in time. They get taken out as Candy collapses on top of them. That position is gonna net Chocolate Factory that win and send them to finals.
Well, folks, normally we are used to seeing weapons camp underneath that tent area that are, I don't know, good at hitting people on top of the tent area and can come over to attack as well. In that situation, Candy very wisely is like, well, my weapon can't really hit people who are up on top of the tent, but they also can't hit me either, so I'm just going to go right back over here twice. 2 huge sharks in order to close that one out, and a great job by the other members of the Chocolate Factory to hold on through that onslaught of both paint and a couple Booyah Bombs just long enough for that shark to work. Timing still applies even if we're playing with 8 arrow sprays.
Yeah. 9, do you remember that incredible glitch where Sloshing Machine could just hit directly through?
Through the tent. I call that
Yeah.
the golden age. I was eating good. Life was easy back in those days.
Yeah. I think Arrow deserves it. Arrow deserves to be able to shoot directly through walls. I think that would certainly help. How else is it going to deal with someone sitting on top of the tent? I think that would be a very healthy addition for the game.
We will go ahead and pen pal that one straight up to the dev team here, asking for them to please buff the arrow spray in such a fashion that has never been done before. It will be the nice, the Predator handshake, the classic one where Arnold and Dylan go ahead and give that big beefy handshake. It's going to be that handshake, but it's going to be the Stingray and the arrow spray. Yeah. 2 unlikely allies that have fused together to create a weapon that might be able to compete with the worst version of any other of your favorite shooters.
Hey, there's a lot of patches left in this game to go. There's also at least another kit. Arrow's gonna get PG at some point. It's gonna get Burst Bomb, but the special's still up in the air. You know, Stingray is still on the table.
They are gonna bring,
as much as we don't want it.
They're gonna bring back Stingray just for the arrow spray. Oh my goodness! As a general fan of all things that make people groan, that one gets a round of applause. That's good stuff.
Oh god, I mean, the theme of this game is chaos. They've already brought Kraken back against everyone's expectations. I don't know what we're gonna be seeing, except for, 8 arrow sprays in the finals match, but
we have spent a depressingly large amount of Splatoon 3's lifespan not having to guess what compositions are going to be. It's, some strong weapons at the beginning of the game and a few teams that kind of dominated, so we knew what we were going to get, but we have 2 incredibly long names that we are going to abbreviate for you here. We're just going to go with DNA on the left side here. It's, come on, folks. You know these players by now if you've watched any of the North American Championships or, just high-level Splatoon in general. And on the other side, it will be Timothy Chalamet's Chocolate Factory, which we will probably just abbreviate as the Chocolate Factory. So we'll save ourselves some syllables and you a little bit of comprehension. Deoxyribonucleic aerospray. I'm going to drop the mic and leave now. Thank you for coming. I've got nothing. I was workshopping in my head mitochondria aerospray, but it's just not the right A sound at the end of mitochondria. So the powerhouse of the cell will not be making an appearance here.
Powerhouse of the cell may not be, but yeah, the DNA is definitely a powerhouse. And, aerospray it's its own beast, but I think these guys have most of it figured out at this point. We are going to be seeing 5 actually different maps that we have not commentated thus far. Yeah.
Well, that is the nice thing about zones-only tournaments is you do tend to see a wider variety of maps because, well, the teams don't have to prep for nearly as much just by way of taking away 3 of the modes or 4 of the modes if you're of a turf war inclination. So that is one of the real advantages to mode-only tournaments, I would argue. And, of course, we're going to start it out here, as we so often do, on Mako Mart. Love it, no matter the map, no matter the weapon composition.
Yeah, absolutely. We see a fair amount of special charge coming out on both sides. Look at that. There's a lot of special power on DNA, which is, that definitely helps with the how fast you charge it. So, oh my goodness.
Goose should have died 6 times there. Now Synapse should have died 3 times there, but took 2 out as well. Okay, it's madness on the board. Pandemonium. Now we're moving up here. We're fighting people. Fall actually works. Oh my god! What's happened here? Retreat. That's right. Booyah Bomb. You're not going to get another great play that quickly. Nice job. Hold on. Let the jumps come back in. What an explosive start here from Quad Aerospray on both sides. Nuts.
Goodness, and DNA now explodes through mid. They're going to take out 3 members and try and get into the spawn, and that's exactly what Synapse is going to try and do up here, getting over into that top left, doing a little funny ledge camp thing, which might not work as well on Aerospray. Yep, you reveal yourself, you shoot at them, it doesn't kill, and oopsies, you're dead. But Synapse manages to get out just in the nick of time to get back to paint the zone and help DNA hang on.
Yeah, nice job here. And I was about to say they're going to have the special advantage at this point, and they already had a player down here. Zeke and Synapse rotating off on this side. You still get right side peek no matter what, and that's what it can look like there. Another one down. You know that it's going to take at least 2 members of the opposing team in order to take this zone. We got one coming from front, one coming from back here. They have split the defense, but they have to move in on the zone at some point. They've done a pretty good job of moving the members of DNA around, but they weren't able to close the deal on a couple of those fights. One more Booyah Bomb coming in. Is it going to take out a player? It is not. And Fusion, if that game had gone on for a couple more seconds, I think they were outscaling on the paint. I think Chocolate Factory would have been able to at least neutralize the zone. DNA held on just long enough, and what an explosive game 1, despite how quickly it ended.
Yeah, I mean, it always surprises me how quickly Aerosprays can paint the zone, and it always surprises me how many times people can just stand in a Booyah Bomb for what looks like an eternity and get out unscathed. We're seeing DNA take full advantage of that here at the end, just surviving that Booyah Bomb, painting the zone just barely enough. And, I mean, it's a game about paint and a game about paint scaling. Forget about, full wiping the enemy team. That's not really going to happen here. But DNA manages to play the objective just long enough. Oh my god, look at that! Their jump lands inside the Booyah Bomb. And they managed to get out. That's absolutely crazy.
What I'm hearing is we need to buff Booyah Bomb more.
Absolutely. We need to buff Booyah Bomb.
Yes, as the sloshing machine player once again slowly but surely fixes the agenda forward. Buff the Booyah Bomb. even more. But I will give the Chocolate Factory some credit there. At the end of the game, they had spread out and split the members of DNA on the defensive side. That's part of the action. Then you just have to close the deal on a couple of the fights if you're going to go that avenue. I will say it's going to be a little more difficult for them to execute that same approach here. We know good and well on Undertow, it's not so easy to get to your opponent's side of the map. Unless you're Zeke and you simply dive right at it. Already got over there, already got behind Goose there. Not able to close the deal. That was very, very bold at the start of the game there for DNA and almost paid off. They do have zone technically and the advantage, so maybe the payment is yet to come.
Yeah, man, not much are trying to get a pick there. 2 arrows at the same spot. They're going to survive, and now the swarm comes out. The staggered Booyah Bombs is going to trap them in the corner. Goose is nowhere to go, but they take Dark down with them, and it's still a 2v2 situation. So despite all of this stuff, it's not even looking that lopsided. Like, the Chocolate Factory is still on the back foot, but they have that high ground. They have a way to get back in, and they're able to start neutralizing the zones here.
Yeah, and for a hot minute, that was the first time they had all of the attacking members of DNA down for an extended period of time here. DNA's MO, regardless of what comp they're playing, is they always want to have somebody moving forward to give you something to think about as you are trying to push back in and get into your sequence, your set play. So if you're able to push that aside here, you're going to have a real opportunity to have the same sorts of lockouts. And right now, once again, the Chocolate Factory doing a decent job neutralizing there. Can they find 1 or 2 of these picks? It doesn't appear so, and that other Booyah Bomb coming just a touch late.
Yeah, it's not quite enough, but hey, there's definitely a penalty that they gave to DNA, so they're going to have at least another shot or 2 at the zone here. A Booyah comes out early from Zeke, and they get triple shredded by Chocolate Factory, who are going to be trying to make their way back in. They have some specials online. Dark way up in the air with the Booyah Bomb, defending as much as they can. And despite having all of this specials and all of this paint and neutralizing the zone, the Chocolate Factory has not gotten past that pillow in mid at all.
No, it has been such a difficult fight for them to get through. And again, you don't really have a lot of ways through here on Undertow. Fusion, as an avid and noted hater of all things backline, I don't want a world where we can't shoot anything across the zones. I'm going to be honest here. I have never wanted so bad. I mean, give me a jet squelcher. Give me something that can fire across a zone with something that isn't its special. Because you're just going to see the same thing here. Eventually, one player is going to get thrown forward there. They're going to try to close the deal on a fight. They're either going to succeed or fail, probably fail because it's an arrow spray. And then you just neutralize zones and wait until someone makes an unforced error. It's rough. It is a rough life out here.
So what I'm hearing is Arrow PG needs to get line marker. But yeah, Chocolate Factory takes the zone back, and now they have all the paint control here, and who knows how far they could take it, because just a couple kills will net them the lead here, and they just kind of need to play stall until they get it back, because points have been so hard to come by here.
How has nobody noticed that Candy is here right now? Candy has had to shoot out of like 2 or 3 things here. This is the shark that you wait. No! Candy can't close the deal. And all of it, the whole rest of the team did such a fantastic job, Fusion, to get around 2 different specials. There are a couple players moving forward there. If Candy gets 2 or 3 of those players, that might be game right then and there. I don't know if they were going to get to cycle through another few specials, but alas, it's a little too short.
Yeah, Zeke on the flank there, trying to get behind. They're able to take out Candy in the zone and almost flip it back. And now luring the Chocolate Factory away from the zone is going to give DNA so much paint control. And it looks like they're going to be able to grab it back here.
Yeah, Zeke's not dead, by the way. Finally does go down there after taking out 1 player, distracting 2 more, and getting that Booyah Bomb really, really far back. I'm sure they would have loved to have put that on the other side of the zone, but because of where they were forced to pop it, no longer an option. Now Dark simply content to trade paint right here. Eventually, you're going to get your own Booyah Bomb, and a great Booyah Bomb toss. I believe both of those Booyah Bombs ended up getting 2 players down here. So it's once again pandemonium on both sides. We enter the final 30 seconds. Fusion, we're probably not going to have a knockout for the first time.
Wow, this is absolutely groundbreaking here. We see NM onto Zeke's flank there. Zeke is going to get called out. They're going to get taken out. Now that's 2 down. And Chocolate Factory is going to be able to run to the zone and cap it. that it's not really enough to take control, but Candy moves up, Booyah Bombs aggressively, and that's going to let them move up, push onto Dark, but not take him out. And now the zone's neutral yet again, but this could go any way here. The paint will just keep coming, and 3 members alive on both sides. They're going to be fighting for the zone. Only 15 seconds penalty left. How is this going to end, Nine?
I was about to say exactly like that. Booyah Bomb on both sides, but instead it's going to be the follow-up after the Booyah Bomb. You throw a Booyah Bomb on each zone, you know that both members of the opposing team have to fire each at one zone if they want the game to continue. You move up at that point, you're going to be able to outscale there, but I gotta say, the Chocolate Factory really gave us something to think about there. I maintain that if that big flank from Candy partway through the game had found 2 or 3 players, that could have been the game right then and there in favor. But again, at a certain point, we joke over and over about the weakness of this main weapon. You can see DNA that has cut their teeth in the world of Splatoon with a lot of shooters on their comps. Certainly able to get it done with a quad shooter comp, even if it's a little different than the one that they would probably choose.
Yeah, they were certainly, Arrow isn't all that different from Splash if you're talking about movements, like you mentioned earlier. You're really just kind of zip zooming all over the place, and that's certainly what allows the teams to really push forward, get around, push up that paint control. But, some teams are still figuring out that when you try and push with Aerospray, or when you shark with Aerospray, even if you stand right next to someone and aim at their face, if you don't get the kill immediately, you are just screwed.
It's the worst feeling, too, because so much of this game is predicated on timing. You get your shots off, and then if you don't immediately close it out, you make one juke to the left side to get your last 2 shots. You're always banking on, you hear tap, 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 tap. You've taken the opponent out. You start moving up there. It's just built into our muscle memory at this point. And if you have to go through that 2 times, a couple more times, now I have to chase. Sometimes it feels like even if you close down the kill, you have still totally thrown the moment away. And it's so unfortunate when your main weapon tends to work against you, as these often do.
Yeah, I don't think this is. It's like this is a lukewarm take, but I think the Aerospray. Wait, not Thermal Link, opening Gambit. Oh my goodness, was that on Zeke? Or was that Synapse? Either way, going for those kills very early. But yeah, my lukewarm take was going to be, I think the Reef Slider one's probably the better of the 2 Aerosprays. And I don't know. Fizzy Bomb might as well be a special weapon on its own. But yeah, anyway, the Sprinkler and Booyah Bomb can only afford it so much. But yeah, Chocolate Factory, despite that early lead, are going to get up too aggressive, get taken out, and DNA is going to grab back that zone.
Yeah, I like what they've gone for there. This map, unlike a couple of the other maps that they've played, does have some real avenues to move forward. As I think almost every shot there hit from Candy. That was unbelievable. The RNG in their favor. This is a map where you can actually move up here, and thanks to this new extended area behind the plat, you have some real avenues to attack and shark around while being a little bit harder to see. You can see Candy going way behind, get stuck on the other side of Split Spawn, and Candy actually going to use that time to move away, and it's now being very difficult to track down there. All the while as the fight goes on, it appears that the other members of DNA were able to overpower, and now that Candy is down, we're going to see if this respawn comes in time, if it's able to be held. But this is a much more convincing showing thus far from the Chocolate Factory.
Goodness. Yeah, look at Candy just up on that high ground painting. Zeke does the exact same thing and gets above them, and here comes the paint raining down from that high ground. See if Zeke had thermal inks there. That would have helped so much. He would have known exactly where that dead body was. But they're going to grab the left zone here. The Booyah is going to help them stay alive, but that's not enough to take the zone completely back. So Chocolate Factory looks like they're going to hang on, but now it's a 1v1. And 2v1. Chocolate Factory comes out on top, and they still maintain that control here.
I am once again asking everybody in the crowd to toss a coin to your spectator cam operator here, because it's impossible in regular Splatoon, and we've somehow made it even more difficult here. Who's landing in whose Booyah Bomb? Who's throwing the Booyah Bomb? There's no correct answer here to be found, as finally we have a moment's reprieve as DNA is going to be able to move up and set up an actual legitimate defense. it appears that they've identified that there's a couple people that are going to try to drop down on this side, but I don't believe anybody from Chocolate Factory actually did. So we're going to see a pivot back the other way from DNA. They picked out a great time to move forward and attack it here. Surely there's a couple of members who are going to be firing at the channel that Delta is trying to run down. So it does appear we are very, very close. But no, it appears that Zeke has actually managed to hold this. I was going to say finally a little bit more control coming in for the Chocolate Factory. However, the split spawn scenario is going to get them that and a whole lot more with a wipeout. So here we go. Once again, 2 minutes left on the clock. The penalty going to be chewed through. And a couple more fights here. We could see a game on the board for the Chocolate Factory.
Yeah, they've just got to maintain that high ground on top mid. They see Landon up in this top left side here, just painting the zone with that Booyah bomb. But one member goes down on the Chocolate Factory in mid. Now that's 2 down. Candy is stuck in an awkward position in between all of TNA there. They're going to Booyah in a last-ditch effort, but is not going to get off in time. And now the pressure's back on. It looks like that the Chocolate Factory is going to have to make their way in very quickly as, oh my god, DNA is getting aggressive.
Yeah, but they actually were able to take one out there with that Booyah Bomb. That seems to be the catalyst. I don't want to boil it. Oh my god, 3 people were firing at that Booyah Bomb. But I don't want to boil it down as to be your defense goes well until somebody dies to a random Booyah Bomb, which is just an absurd statement to make to begin with. But that just seemed to be what ends up breaking these up. 1 or 2 of them go down to something from a distance, and you know it's not a main weapon or a sub weapon that's getting the job done, but that has been the catalyst for a lot of it. Now you've got DNA running straight at you. Now it's dangerous, and oh no. DNA 3 down on the opposing team, 10 seconds left, spamming this way, and you know, you could have 5 Booyah Bombs. It wouldn't take it there. A 3-0, the Dirty 30 coming out here for DNA and a dominant display. And the Golden Throne #1, they figured it out awfully quick there. The Chocolate Factory, I have to say, gave them a good showing there for parts of the game, but it's DNA, it's quad shooter, and it's a fist bump at the end between Dark and Synapse.
Yeah, like, my goodness. It felt like, you know, Arrow's not a weapon made for slaying, but near the end there, we see Landon slip in, get one pick, take another one out, and they've just been able to get back in so consistently. They deserve the crown here, and they're going to be sitting atop the Golden Throne as if they've drank too much water. I heard you make the joke earlier, Nine. I'm not taking credit for that. Anyways.
You could have taken that one if you'd wanted. There's a reason that one wasn't on air.
Oopsies.
No, it's all falling apart. Oh my, no, it's all good and well. Bad jokes are just as important as good jokes, folks. They can't all hit, and you can't win them all. And you know, speaking of teams that can't win them all, there's a 3rd place match that is going on off screen right now. Aeroslay and Sequoia. Right now, I believe I have it as Aeroslay is up 2-1 over Sequoia. So the battle for the bronze, as it were, is being hotly contested thus far.
Yeah, we'll see how that's going to end up. Aeroslay definitely looked very strong in their previous set. Sequoia as well. But yeah, no team able to stand up to the Aerospray menace that is DNA. They tested their DNA, and it wasn't DNA. It was Aerospray.
DN Aerospray. That's gotta be good. You know, it's also funny that, you know, the team that is famed for just adding another 52 gal to their comp, it just transfers over so well to Aerosprays. I mean, we knew, you know, Dark and Landon are very, very strong players with a number of shooters. I believe Landon, one of the better players that you will ever see with the Splattershot Junior. So clearly someone who is totally fine playing the shorter range, higher spread shooters with a little bit more speed and a little bit more mobility. But, you know, their ability to take back the zones, I think, was what was most impressive there. We were really joking earlier on in the sets about how difficult it looks to take back zones, and maybe it's a map thing, but I was just very impressed with their ability to find maybe that one quick kill that spun out into everything else that they would then go through. Yes, we know that they have great skill, but whenever that one goes through, they just immediately seize on that moment and create an opening from just the smallest of gaps.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what you have to do when you've got bullets flying every quarter, every, like, God, how fast is aerospray? Every 16th of a second, something like that. And they were just able to slip in between those gaps and take advantage of it, you know? You can't really expect the enemy team. They're not going to, like, bam, laser you when they've got an aerospray. And DNA just weighed their risks perfectly. We're able to just like sneak in and even grab back the zone in some very strong times. And I don't think DNA even dropped a game in the tournament. So very impressive to them.
We are being told here that if there is a game 5 between Sequoia and Aeroslay, we are going to try to get into it. So we will continue to stall for a moment because we don't currently know where that is at. The TO is currently digging in to try to find an avenue into that set. If you want to see game 5, oh, never mind. You don't get to see it. I'm sorry. Aeroslay, you can get mad at them. Aeroslay clutched out game number 4, getting a 3-1 victory over Sequoia there. So our 1 seed takes first place. Our 3 seed takes second place. Our 2nd seed takes third place. And the 4th seed, Sequoia, will go ahead and walk just 1 short of the podium there. But congratulations to them for taking a game off of Aeroslay and putting on a great showing in this event.
Yeah, certainly. Despite this, no one ever plays this before outside of this tournament. So props to teams for thinking on the fly and figuring out the strats they need to come away with the victory. Because we saw some interesting stuff with the booyah shredding and sprinklers under them, and when to paint versus when to special, and we did a little bit of silly, we did the silly,
almost as if it was the entire point of this wonderful event that was put through.
Yes.
Have to also again give some credit here to the TOs as they step out from behind the curtain, the mad scientists that they are, for putting an event like this together. We love a good gimmick tournament, but this was still run very well. The production value, we were joking before we got on that it reminded us of Yoshi's story, how everything looked great, held together by duct tape, whatever. You can hold it together with chewing gum and a sprinkler for all I care. If it looks and sounds this good, it's lovely, and it was run so efficiently, so well. I mean, we've been stalling Fusion for probably 4 or 5 minutes right now, which means that we got through our entire top 8 in less than 90 minutes, which is very, very good, especially given that these were best of 5s.
Yeah, I mean, these just went by in a flash, and yeah, almost every game was a knockout. We did even see some non-knockouts, but when Zones goes fast. Zones goes very fast, and we saw that for sure today.
Well, I believe we are good to go ahead and sign off. So, Fusion, I will pass the golden conch to you, as it were. Here, where can people find you? What have you got going on? All hail the conch.
Yes, the @ is on the screen there at @epifusion_. I'm just kind of chilling and vibing and occasionally playing with my team. Take your meds and commentating. It's been an absolute pleasure. Where can they find you, Nine, and what Splatfest team are you on, so I know whether or not we can be friends?
Well, as you noted there, you can see my @ there on the screen. You can find me on the interwebs at www.dk64randomizer.com. And I am on Team Vanilla. And I will go so far as to say, for all of you chocolate-loving heathens out there, I would have gone Team Vanilla even if chocolate was an available option, because vanilla is the best ice cream, and you simply haven't had good vanilla.
That's true. Good vanilla is very good, but I like mint chip. I have to go with mint chip here. I don't have a choice.
Mint chip would have been my number 2. Can we still be friends?
We can still be friends, just barely though. Anyways, everyone, you have a couple hours. You have a couple hours to play Arrow in the Turf War in Splatfest. So go do that, because worship Aerospray. It's the best.
I can think of nothing better than thank you everybody for tuning into the Golden Throne. Go finish up Splatfest with some golden arrow spray there. Spread the same misery that these teams have spread to one another. And until next time, stay fresh.